Let's all go to the lobby. Let's all go to the lobby. Let's all go to the lobby to get ourselves a treat. Let's all go to the lobby to get ourselves a treat.
From penis to vagina.
I could just tell Josh in the bottom of my screen. He was so proud of that. Welcome back to another episode of Where Heartbreak Feels Good. We're back for another episode of What We Watched, this time in the month of November. And joining me today is the mind behind that masterpiece, Josh D. Woodbury.
I had to do it, you know? It took the internet by storm. The best musical song of the year, maybe?
Is that gonna be?
Yeah, it's
Are we gonna be stuck with that for the next year?
Probably, yeah. I mean, we're both probably too lazy to change it.
Yeah.
It was an interesting month. I feel like some fun new releases, but it was also a weird one with the election. So that kind of like reflected in my watches. So we'll get to it.
And also joining us is our co-host, Evan Harris.
Glad to be back. My voice is dying, so that's why I sound like this. There's also some cool TV stuff as well that dropped in November, like Dune, Silo, Arcane. So some good TV stuff. But yeah,
that's
mostly
all you, buddy.
Okay, cool. And then some good movie stuff as well. Yeah, it's crazy we didn't talk about Wicked or Emilia Perez yet.
Yeah. Explain to the people why is your voice gone.
These 6th grade kids are killing me. Lots of yelling the past few weeks.
What did they do now?
It's been a lot of yelling, which is weird. I yell all the time for the past like 4 years I've been teaching. But the kids have finally got to me.
They got him.
Finally over it.
Exactly.
All right. So where do we want to start? Because my first watch of November, we already talked about it last month, which was Conclave. But
oh no, no, Letterboxd I think is down.
Not for me.
No.
Yeah, I was like, why is it loading so long? Oh, mine's fine.
Oh no.
I'm good.
Okay.
I think I'm good. No, the diary is not loading.
I think we're fucked.
Oh.
My diary is fine. I had it open for
you just bring up both of ours and tell us what we watched.
Yeah, we saw the same things.
Let me see. Let's see if it works. I think
man,
it will be
horrible timing.
Oh wait, never mind. It's down. But I can still. My diary page is still fine. So
okay.
See, this is why you open it before.
Do they have like a website? Maybe the website's up in the app is down.
Now.
What was your first film, Edgar?
Well, I just said Conclave, but we already talked about it.
Oh, yeah.
Did we talk about it?
Yeah, last month. Aldo Bellini.
Oh yeah, okay.
Aldo
I can't remember between us and the Oscar episode.
Yeah.
But honestly, most of my watches, at least in the first half of November, were just going through some of Ridley Scott's movies leading up to Gladiator 2.
Okay.
Went back to watch Blade Runner. That movie still stunts me how good it looks for a movie from, 1984, 6, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Gorgeous movie. Black Hack Down. I haven't seen that movie like from beginning to end in a hot minute.
I don't think I have either. Wow, yeah.
Yeah, definitely hasn't aged well in some areas, you know.
Is that's the one with Jeremy Renner?
No, you're thinking about
what am I thinking?
Herlacher?
I'm thinking of Herlacher.
Yeah,
I always thought this was confusing when I was a kid. Yeah, I like both of those.
But yeah, that's I mean, it's all right. It's good. You know, Ewan McGregor doing an American accent.
He's in that.
Yeah, it's him. I think the main guy is why am I blanking on his name? Trap guy.
Oh shit! Really, Josh Hartnett?
Yeah, he's like the protagonist. Then you also have I cannot speak right now. Eric Bana. Who else is in that movie? Oh, Orlando Bloom. There's a bunch of people in the movie. And then I saw Thelma and Louise for the first time.
Hey,
The
nice.
Criterion. I didn't love it as much as I wanted it to.
Oh, okay.
But I still like it a lot. Like one of those movies where like I knew what happened before even watching it. Not gonna spoil it here if you haven't.
I
seen
think
it,
that's just because it's so like cliche
Yeah.
now, because that's what
Iconic,
started
yeah.
it. And it's just like the Tatum Blinded Bunny and Twilight also.
Yeah. But I think it works really well, especially again, like you alluded at the beginning of this episode of movies that we saw after the election. This was one of them. Like, oh, okay, perfect timing, I guess.
Yeah.
And then speaking of perfect timing, a movie that I've come to terms that it might be my favorite movie of Ridley Scott, The Last Duel. I fucking love that movie. I've seen
Holy
it like
shit.
several times, and I mean, when I saw it for the first time, maybe it was just a little bit jarring back in what it was, 2021, like the whole perspectives and seeing things like over and over again. There's certain things that happen that you don't really want to rewatch, but the movie's forcing you to, for a good reason. But yeah, like Matt Damon and Adam Driver, Judy Comer, like talk about like acting with your eyes. Man, that woman, incredible performance. Probably I would still argue is up there with it has like one of the best set pieces in any movie this decade so far, with the actual last duel at the end and the climax. Phenomenal shit.
I
And
need to rewatch
then-
that one because I really
too.
enjoyed it, but it was like a 11 or 10 p.m. showing. I was
Mine-
fucking struggling to stay awake.
Yeah, mine too.
But I got the Forte recently, so I might pop that in soon.
Yeah, and then I
It's long
finally
though, isn't it? It's like 2.5 hours.
I was gonna say let me see, but fucking later about this time. No, yeah, it's probably like 2.5. And then I saw Napoleon, the director's cut.
Oh, okay.
Almost 4 hours
As a
long.
fellow defender of Napoleon, the theatrical cut, how is it improved? Is it better? Is it just longer?
It's weirder,
Yeah.
if that makes sense. It definitely feels longer. I can see why they cut a lot of it for the theatrical cut, because it is a lot, and sometimes you kind of just like struggling to focus in what's happening in the movie. But I don't know, it's like a mix, because I do think it's what it adds to the movie. It does add a lot of context to Josephine, especially, and their relationship. But there's a lot of just like
That's one of the
random-
things that I thought was like a bit missing from the theatrical. Like she wasn't
Yeah.
really fleshed out as much.
Yeah,
so.
she very much feels like an actual now the movie now feels like a duet between the two,
Okay.
instead of
Okay,
just
I like
being focused on
It's like 4 hours though, right?
yeah, it's like 4 hours. Honestly,
Oh
this
my
would be like a nice like two-parter watch of like maybe watch the
Yeah.
first half one day and then the second
I
one.
might do that.
Is that what you did?
No, I watched it in all at once.
Oh my god.
I was doing homework on the side, but I was like distracted.
Okay. There we
Because-
go. Okay.
Like again, like you do feel the runtimes in certain points. I'm like, okay, I'm just gonna focus on what I'm working here while this is happening. But I mean, my rating for the movie didn't change. It's still the same rating that I gave it
Which
when it
is?
first came out.
4 stars, right?
Yeah, like
I can't
3.5. No, yeah, like 3.5 or 4.
Yeah, I
But yeah.
remember. Yeah, I remember
No,
just
go
being
for
like
it.
forgettable a little bit, like especially towards the end. I did like the beginning, but like the end just felt a little bit forgettable. With his
Yeah,
relationships. Yeah.
yeah. Like once Josephine kind of like exits the picture, that's when the movie starts to lose my focus.
Yeah.
And even the battles themselves, like they're gorgeous to look at, but they don't really, I don't know, they don't have like the
How was the comedy in the longer cut?
I mean, honestly, it's still on par with what the
Oh,
you
yeah.
see on the-
PTA.
It's just more of
PTA
that.
touch-ups.
Yeah, it's just more of that. I think there's also just like more like situational comedy with his mom. Like you barely see the mom in the
Okay.
theatrical cut, and you see more of that conflict between her and Josephine. Not a lot, but like slightly more. But yeah, like again, like I think it's just, even if you don't like this movie, which we have friends that don't like this movie, I think it's just fun to think about.
It's a fun time.
Yeah, like this guy just fucking took $200 million from Apple to make like a fucking Three Stooges comedy, like
a movie about a pathetic loser.
Yeah. More of that, please. Yes. And then Gladiator and Gladiator 2. But if you guys want to talk about that later,
I know we could just segue into it. I did watch the first Gladiator for the first time in anticipation. Wait 1 second. I didn't love it. I wasn't like, I know Edgar, you said it's like you have a huge like emotional connection to it. That wasn't there for me. But it was really solid. The action's great, and like it's compelling, it's thrilling. Russell Crowe is great. Joaquin Phoenix is incredible.
Yeah.
As a little freak.
She's so good.
Yeah. But it was just really solid.
Yeah. Evan, you saw it for the first time too, right?
Yeah. Yeah, I love the first one. The first one's like, I think is a masterpiece. Like I was watching it live with Nathan. Y'all can watch our commentary. I think it's excellent. Like I love unlike you, Josh, I was compelled by the emotional stuff. And I think in contrast to Gladiator 2, I just feel like his connection is more pronounced in the first act, which makes us care about his journey throughout the rest of the movie. Which is something that doesn't happen.
It was my watch 2. Did have an asterisk because I was really fucking high when I watched it. So maybe that's why I didn't really connect with it. But I don't know. It was definitely better than 2, which one did 2, but it was.
But yeah, I just feel like the dialogue was on point. Yeah, sorry. Yeah. I just felt like the dialogue was on point. I felt like the connections between him and Joaquin were great. Him and the mother, I forget her name now, was excellent. And I just felt like there was a whole like riveting tension throughout the entire movie. I was never bored. It was constant like great action, great dialogue, great like awesome gladiator sequences, and even the ending was very like sad, emotional, like riveting. Like I was like constantly engaged watching Gladiator. I could see why, like as I'm watching, I'm like, okay, I can see why this one like best picture a little bit. I don't know what the other contenders were that year, but it was great.
Is that your first time watching it, or have you seen it before?
I never saw it in completion. I've always seen like little bits and pieces. But I was watching, I was like, oh, okay, so now I can see why this scene makes sense. Blah blah blah, stuff like that.
Yeah, I think that also what works a lot about the original is that it really does, like, eventually once you get to the Colosseum, like you get all of those like flashy, action set pieces, but it really does take its time, like fleshing out these characters before shit hits the fan with Joaquin Phoenix's character, killing the dad and then overthrowing the throne and all of that shit. That moment, like I know everybody always talks about that moment in the opening scene of Russell Crowe like looking at the bird flying away and then focusing back on the battle. It's like, oh, such a good fucking acting.
So good. Yeah.
We're back.
Hey. All right. But yeah, like staying on Gladiator, I just like, again, like going back to what I was saying of like fleshing out these characters before everything goes down. That's something that I feel like Gladiator 2 is missing like a lot. Like I believe instantly the rivalry between Joaquin and Russell Crowe.
Same. It's great because Joaquin's character is really like fleshed out. We get a lot of individual scenes with just Joaquin to focus in on like why he's so creepy, his weird infatuation with his sister.
He's the primary antagonist too. There's not anyone else taking away.
There's not like 3 or 4 of them.
Exactly.
No, but also like even like obviously you don't sympathize with the guy, but you almost kind of feel sorry for him at the beginning of like, oh, like yeah, you're like a little shit, but your dad kind of doesn't like give a shit about you too.
It's funny. I'm watching this, Edgar, and I'm like, this is basically House of the Dragon because this dad sucks. He's like, oh yeah, the empire is awful. I need you to fix it. I'm like, the fuck? Like, what have you been doing for the past like 50 years? Like, you suck. So yeah, the dad was awful. So it was always focused in on like for Joaquin and
Yeah.
Maximus to fix everything.
And that's another problem also that I have with Gladiator 2 of like they try to make it seem that he was a good emperor, and like the first movie very much is
Hard
like,
to say
yeah,
what
this
it
guy
is,
sucks.
yeah.
No, he sucks. Yeah.
But yeah, like that final, even though like I feel like the slow mo is a bit overused, especially in the action sequences, especially in the last one between Joaquin and Russell. That final duo still hits, like the white armor, and like how it's like slowly getting dirty with blood, and
It's still
everything.
good. I loved it.
The flowers,
It also looks so good. Like just the colors of that movie.
yeah. Like I was like reading on it like the other day about like how it's one of those first movies where they really use like the besides like the prequels of using like the expansion of with the green screens, and like you can see like really like old Rome. There's this one shot that I've been thinking about since I rewatched the movie of, I think he's Russell is fighting like the big guy with the helmet, and there's like this white shot of them, and like it's you can see like the crowd on the back. It's so beautiful.
Yeah.
But yeah, Gladiator 2.
Yeah.
Where do we start with this?
I feel like Gladiator 2. I didn't hate this movie. I think it's like a perfectly fine.
It's very
Very,
entertaining.
very like average. For me.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it just felt very average. But inside of it, there are moments of greatness. Like I think to get the positives out the way, I think the way to construct the social power plays that Denzel was making in the second half of this movie are excellent. I think like as a huge me reality TV fan, the way he like maneuvers the social politics
It
to getting
sets
close to them is great.
Politics are so messy though. Like that should have been more
In what
of a
way?
focus. Just like all over the place. Like there's throwing everything at you. Especially in
I
the
think a little
last
bit,
half.
but I think part of that was like the strength for me. Where yes, it is messy, but I think in some instances it's supposed to be messy. In the instance of like we don't really, there is no person really in charge here. People think it's the emperor, and they have like all the physical power, but nobody really listens to them, or nobody really trusts them. And every time they talk, there's a subsequent scene after that of people being like, "Yeah, they suck," or "Let's try and rebel. Let's do this X, Y, and Z." And people really listen to Denzel. And a lot of Denzel scenes where he's getting these seeds of information and trying to backstab and get his way into it. I think one of my favorite instances of this movie is when we all know the rebellion's happening between Pedro Pascal's character and the mom. Denzel doesn't like that, and because he's not involved with it, it's a power play that he's not a part of. So he instantly rats it out, which I thought was a very smart. Because in the movie, you're like, why is he doing this? What does he gain from this?
Yeah, like shouldn't he?
Exactly. It's like, shouldn't he be supporting that? Like, if the emperor suck, shouldn't he be supporting that? But it's like, yes, they suck, but if he went with Pedro's plan, then he gains nothing. His position doesn't change. But if he rats it out, then takes care of the emperors, then he gets the power position. I just thought like a lot of his maneuvering was very like, I could easily see what was happening. I could see why he was doing X, Y, and Z, and what he was gaining at every step of the way. So his character, I just thought was like, and it was like really funny and fun. The way he was just like theatrically playing every single
the best
character.
part of the movie.
I wish he was just the main focus or the main like antagonist. Of course, like the brothers are fun, but like we don't need them, or like we don't need to focus too much on them.
Yeah.
It's hard. Yeah, it's hard. I can see what Ridley was trying to do with them because they are very, funny, and we did get a lot of emperors in that time just like that. So it was very like important to emphasize the chaos of Rome in this like latter days. But I would agree with you, Josh, in the sense that like at the beginning, or at least even in the marketing, you think Pedro Pascal is going to be the villain, and he's not. Which I'm cool with.
That's a cool idea. I just wish it was like fleshed out a bit more.
Exactly. Because I'm watching this. I'm like, oh wait, Lucius could be like the villain in a sense. Like
that's where I meant like it was all over the place. Like it had too many pieces going on, and I don't think all of them were fleshed out as nearly as much as they should have been. Honestly, this could have benefited for a longer cut.
I feel like it's like wait, what was your question?
220, I think.
The movie,
Yeah.
2
Oh yeah,
hours and
like
20 minutes. Okay.
220.
Yeah.
I think there's like a better version of this movie where a lot of what you guys said, like I agree with, but if you make almost like Denzel be almost like the protagonist of the movie where he is purposely manipulating Lucius and like turning him into the his basically his pet, like
Yeah.
his avenue to get to where he wants to
Mm-hmm.
be. And that's kind of what the movie is doing in the
But it
first
doesn't
half.
really
And-
flesh it out as much.
yeah, and then it backtracks because
Yeah.
they just decide to kill Pedro Pascal. Oh, spoilers, I guess. They just decide to they just
That was
decide
out
to
of
kill
nowhere.
Pedro. Yeah, like they just decide to kill him
Mm.
halfway through, and I feel like if you were to save that all the way to the end and have the movie, I mean, not necessarily in a position where, or maybe where Denzel kind of is like the ultimate winner, and Lucius kind of like realizing what he did. I think that's a much better,
That
maybe
was
not better,
like,
but more compelling. It would be
yeah.
different.
I agree. I think my heart should have been pounding when it was like, okay, now it's Lucius versus Pedro Pascal's character, but Pedro doesn't want to fight him. Like my heart should have been pounding at
Yeah.
that fight, but it
And the
happened
end
so
fight
quickly.
too, you just don't care. At least I did.
Yeah.
Like-
They wanted to copy Maximus versus Joaquin's character, where Joaquin obviously can't
Mhm.
fight, and in this one, Denzel obviously can't fight. So it's obviously one-sided. But I still I cared more in the subsequent one, in the first one, because of their relationship, and in this one, I just didn't really care. And the big part is Peter, Paul Mescal, Lucius, his arc is very weird to me. Whereas like he's obviously against Rome. Okay, interesting. Like, okay, yeah, they did bad shit to your family, and then your girlfriend who we saw for like 5 seconds. But
and he's very one note.
but then like he switches during that Pedro Pascal fight to being like, okay, now I support the rebellion. Like, wait, what really changed here? Like, I didn't get the big emotional context behind him wanting to then support his mom. Because there was a great scene between him and his mom. He was like, just leave the
Mhm.
room, get out of here.
Yeah,
I was like,
cave,
okay,
yeah.
you were cooking. But then it's just like Pedro dies, and he's like, oh, the empire.
I think it's because like I love Paul Mescal, but I don't think he was right for this role.
I think he was right. I mean, physically, he was right. And I think he has that
I don't-
bravado.
Yeah, I don't think the script supports what he can do. I think the script itself is just like does everybody a disservice.
And why in the first like 45 minutes are we teasing that this is Maximus's son? This should have been done like the first 5 minutes of the
Mhm.
movie.
I
Like,
mean,
the
they
first
said it in the
45
marketing.
minutes. It's in the marketing.
Yeah.
Because like the whole time it's like, oh, they make it a point in the movie. It's like, oh, who is he?
It's a
Can he-
reveal.
Can
Yeah.
he be the son? It's like they should have had the characters like know this a little bit early on, somehow, some way, because like an hour into the movie, they're trying to make it a big reveal to a lot.
That's
of
like
characters.
I was like confused. Is he actually? Is that the twist? Like, are they just doing it as the marketing? Because like,
Yeah, I'm
it's
like,
so like unnecessary.
it was unnecessary because even my dad
It's
was like, wait,
confusing.
my dad was like, oh wait, he's the son. I'm like, I thought that was obvious, but like, I don't know. It's just like they try to make this big reveal where every character is figuring it out. I'm like, instead of having this be a mystery, have that be revealed early on and have everybody else focus on, like Josh said, the social politics. Have them
Mhm.
focus more on Pedro Pascal and like what his ideas were, because he's just like instantly like, I want to go home. I'm like,
Yeah,
okay,
he's basically the
cool.
Maximus of this movie.
I
Yeah,
liked
but-
his character.
but I
a
never-
lot.
I never
it was
got
just
that.
more on.
Yeah, exactly.
Also, like the whole thing with Lucius and his whole motivation just feels very hollow. Like I don't know. Like okay, so the first movie does the same thing where we barely even see Maximus' wife or his son, but you still feel it because Russell Crowe is Russell Crowe.
And I made a point in this because Nathan asked the exact same question during our Gladiator 2 review. He's like, okay, so why do you care more in the first one, where we barely saw the wife? But I think it's executed a lot better, where like Russell Crowe is like an older man. He keeps emphasizing how he wants to go back to his family, and we don't see them until like 20 minutes into the movie. And then there's like a race to get home, and it's like intersplicing, and it's like intense, and it's like, okay. But then you see the him hanging, like you see the mom and the child hanging. You're like, oh my god, like it's much more like bigger. In this one, it's literally like 5 minutes where like they kiss, she shoots an arrow, gets shot.
we don't
and then
even
it's
see
like-
We don't even
I
get
have
to learn her
a-
name.
I have a
He
funny
just
story.
calls
Yeah, I
her
have no
my
idea
wife.
what her name. Yeah.
So I watched this with a pretty bad crowd. The row
Oh, no.
behind me was like all like 20-year-old men. So like you guys are saying, like his wife barely develops. When she dies, spoilers, one dude was like, fuck yeah, fuck that bitch. I was like, what? You barely even know her.
Jesus
And he said
Christ,
the same
yeah.
thing when Connie Nielsen died, or it died. Like,
Maybe they just we know who they voted for. Yeah.
yeah. But it was just really funny when they said that about his wife, who like got one scene before him.
Yeah.
Also, I feel like I don't know how you would write this into the script, into the story, but I feel like if his motivation was getting back to his mom instead of worrying about a wife that we hardly know, I think that would have been more compelling and actually give some more stuff to do, not only for Paul but also for Connie.
I like that a lot. That's an instantly great idea. That's a great
Because
idea.
After the first hour, that's basically his whole focus. So if that was his focus from the beginning, at least I would feel something.
Yeah. Again, it was like I talked about this with Joker 2, where I was like, I didn't really get his switch, like with a certain scene. Okay. But then in this one, just like, I wouldn't say that. No. Joker 2 is just so boring.
It's more entertaining.
It's boring.
No.
But yeah, in this one, I really wanted to understand why he switched from somebody who hated like his mom, hated everything, to then like supporting this huge. Like I get it. Either way, he still hated Rome. He still hated like the emperors. But it's just like his emotional reason really switched in the second half. I just didn't buy into it. I didn't buy into it being his like this big leader. So yeah, that was kind of like, again, the characterizations are like the weakest point, and Denzel was the strongest point. Josh, do you still think he's getting nominated?
I
still have him in.
So. I think so.
Yeah, especially those complete unknown reviews coming out today. I'm like,
I think that movie is doing really well. Not in the reviews, but I think it's still doing really well with Foster.
Variety, well, not Variety, but the publicist fucking up just gave Sebastian Stan better chances. This awards season.
Oh, what happened?
That too for like best actor. Like everybody's supporting Sebastian Stan now. In terms of him not going to the.
I mean, I did watch The Apprentice last night, so it's not November, but he's fucking incredible, so he deserves it. Top of the list so far, or like up there for me.
For that fifth spot.
I do want to shout out Fred Hischinger as the other twin, the one who took over. He's so fucking good. He's been one of my favorite like lower level supporting actors over the years, and it's great to see him get so much meat.
He's great in the Fear Street trilogy on Netflix. If you have not watched that, I love that trilogy. Yeah. He's the boy. He's the main like.
He's the boy.
He's the boy. He's like the main best friend.
Or not love interest, but because they're gay.
Yeah, they're gay.
I was the first one.
I haven't seen those movies in a minute, but I don't remember.
Yeah, he's more pronounced in 2 and 3, but like he's the best friend in the trilogy.
He's really good in an episode of the Underground Railroad, Barry Jenkins' series.
Oh, I never watched that.
Yeah.
You think Underground Railroad is going to be better than Mufasa?
No. I mean, it's to be watched a lot more. No one watched that, unfortunately.
Let it be on the record that Josh put Mufasa in his most anticipated movie.
Listen. Hey, listen.
Trust Barry.
Barry Jenkins' Stan Brain took over during that stream.
Did you guys see those? Did you guys see those? Oh yeah. No, but those Mufasa reactions.
I did not.
They're so clearly like Disney fans. It's hilarious. It's like, oh, this one rivals the 2019 movie. I'm like, no, what the fuck? Nobody liked the 2019 movie in the first place. Like, what is going on?
It made $1 billion, but nobody.
It was clearly people who went to the premiere in LA. Yeah, it's like you could easily tell. It's like, okay, so this is gonna have like a 60 on Rotten Tomatoes. Like,
I mean, they do write my checks, so you'll be seeing it well in review.
True.
Somebody actually does get paid by Disney here.
Yeah.
My letterbox is finally working. I think we already talked about this, but like I have a Nora down here, but I think we already talked about how
I
much
think
I
we
love
talked about it,
Nora.
right? Did you talk about it? I don't
I
know.
think I did.
Yeah, we
I
did
thought
last month.
Either way, Nora is my number 3 movie of the year. I love it so
That's
much.
crazy.
Behind
I think
what?
it's
Dune?
fantastic. Dune in Substance.
Ooh, oh, substance. I forgot that you have substance so high.
I love the
That's
Substance. I watched
surprising. That's shocking.
Yeah, I think it's great. Did I talk about how I finally saw Woman of the Hour?
We did talk about that.
Yeah,
I haven't seen
finally.
it before.
I finally seen it. 'Cause I think you two. Wait, you haven't seen it, Edgar? I thought.
I've seen.
Okay, Josh.
I really loved it.
I watched it, Josh, and I thought this was great. I'm like,
Right?
oh my god,
Right?
this is Anna Kendrick. Like the
Right?
amount of I thought it was.
It's
I
a
thought it was gonna be
debut.
like I thought it was gonna be like a funny, like I heard like the premise, like dating show, serial killer. I thought it'd be more comedy, but this movie is dark.
Oh,
Like,
It's the
wait,
most
wait,
horrifying shit of the year.
yeah, I've seen
Yeah.
it. I thought you were talking about the Daisy Ridley one. Never mind.
Oh no! But I did
What?
finally see the young woman in the sea. I'll talk about that too.
Yeah.
Okay.
There's a woman in the title. Yeah.
but yeah, this movie is dark. It's uncomfortable, but it's like it's powerful at the same time. Like usually at the end of movies, I hate the white crawl bullshit, but this one was like very
Harbinger.
impactful with like what actually happened because I was very unfamiliar with it. So I loved her
parking lot scene.
performance.
The parking lot
The what?
scene.
Oh my god, it was
Dude,
like
right?
skin crawling.
Ugh.
Skin crawling. And the dude, I don't know his name. Let me see his name.
He's
Um,
fucking great.
He was really good. I'm like, I was creeped out the entire time.
And the main like the young girl of that story on the road trip in the
yes.
desert, she's incredible too.
She was
Autumn Best.
incredible. Yeah, so she was, or the killer was called
Daniel
Daniel
Zavada,
Zavada.
yeah.
Yeah, he was excellent. Like, oh my god, like all his scenes were just incredibly uncomfortable, unnerving, and just the way she shoots them with just like this quiet intensity, was very just fantastic. I was watching this like, oh wow, okay, like that was really good.
I really hope she like dreads a lot more because it's just like that's a lot of promise shown in this one.
Me too. There were a lot of like intersplicing where I got confused a little bit of the way, but like overall, I think it was just a very important, crazy, very engaging film the whole way through. And it did get funny with like the Anna Kendrick scene. They provided that like levity.
The dating show stuff is really good too.
Yeah, exactly. The whole dating show stuff, the stuff with the weird dude at her apartment. It tackled like the, fear of like crazy toxic masculinity in a very real sense. It was very good. Edgar, what'd you think of it? You already saw it though, but you said you like really liked it as well.
Yeah, I really liked it. I think, like you guys said, I think it's creepy as shit. That scene of her walking to her car in the parking lot, dreadful shit. I think I mentioned it last month. Like that shot, I think there's like a shot where in the opening scene where you can see what he's doing to the girl, like on the opening scene through the camera. That's on on the floor.
Yeah,
gorgeous shit.
Some really good camera work here.
Yeah.
Do we want to talk about the two big dad movies of the month?
Besides Gladiator?
One.
Besides Gladiator?
What's the other one?
Juror number 2.
Oh yeah.
Nobody saw this besides you guys because you guys live in LA.
It's out. It's expanded a bit now.
And
it's on Max.
In 2
Max
weeks.
original.
Yeah, it's not
on
on
Max
there yet.
It's on in December 20th, right?
Okay.
I don't know. It's in my top 10, Evan. Even
top 10.
Shit.
Shit.
No,
Wow,
you're lying.
You're
lying.
No,
You're lying.
I really
What
like
the?
it.
Clint Eastwood in somebody's top 10 of the year? Clint Eastwood?
Cry Macho? Anybody?
He hasn't made a good movie in like 20 years.
Yeah.
I mean, now he did.
So here's the thing. I was trying
Wow.
to avoid anything from this movie in terms of like plot, but one day I just kind of looked through the synopsis on Juror 2, and just reading like the first sentence, I was like, I think I know what this is, so I'm gonna stop reading. Then I watched the
It's a
movie,
fucking cool
and
premise, though.
yeah.
It's
And then I
really cool.
watched, then I watched the movie, um, like during Thanksgiving break. And again, going back to the point of Josh that it's expanding. I know that it did expand a little bit because it was in San Diego. It was playing in San Diego, so but yeah, like I started watching the movie. The movie starts maybe 5-10 minutes in. You're quickly. I'm trying to not say anything about the movie, but
I
you
missed the
quick
first like 5 to 10 minutes.
this
But I think
guy.
I still got it.
Hey,
You guys do that all the fucking time. This is my first time doing that.
No, but like
Okay.
5-10 minutes in, I'm like, okay, I was right about my assumptions about this movie by reading that one sentence. But you would think that this would be like, I mean, it is a big deal in the movie, but you would think that it would play out more just as like a huge review, maybe halfway through. But the fact that it happens very early on and it just drags all the way to the end, I think it's
Genius.
perfection. Yeah, it's a great premise. Probably not even probably, easily the best script that Clint Eastwood has worked with in fucking years.
Do you know what it's about,
Um,
Evan?
I'm trying to think. What?
Wait, what?
Do you know like what it's about or what?
I watched the trailer, guys. Yes.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
It's in the
I
trailer?
didn't.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
you
mean,
did.
I didn't
that's-
see the
it's just
trailer,
a big
so
hook- it's the big hook of the trailer. Yeah.
okay. So yeah, so he's the one who's responsible for what the trial, what's happening. Nicholas Hoult in this movie, if it was up to me, he would be in the contenders for best actor of the year. I think he's fantastic.
He's really good. Yeah, I think he's
Um,
even better in another movie that I watched last night. Which
What
also-
year he's having? The Order, Juror, Nosferatu. Like that's
He's
crazy.
so fucking good in the Order, man. He's so good. I'll talk
I
about it
fucked
next
up.
month, but
Yeah.
it's so good.
I
But
fucked
yeah.
up this. Yeah.
yeah, Nicholas Hoult in this movie, the way that he carries all like the guilt and regret and all of these thoughts that he's having, because he actually does try to do the right thing right away in the movie, but then he has other characters telling him,
Mhm.
don't do that because you're gonna
Yeah.
get fucked. And he in the entire movie is just him navigating like his own morality of what's right and what's wrong, and he just keeps like trying to convince himself that he's a good person in order for him to not feel guilty or like self-hating himself. But yeah, like I don't know, man. I just really connected with like the whole premise and like how he navigated the entire movie and how he basically carried it for most of the runtime. I think Toni Collette is good. Everybody is good in this movie. but,
Ensemble's
like,
really good. Evan,
Yeah.
our girl Zoe Deutsch is in there.
Love her. Love
Yeah.
her. Love her. Yeah.
Chris Messina, so good.
Oh, I love him in everything. Yeah.
Yeah, he's
great.
good too. But yeah, like I don't know, man. I just love this movie.
Wow.
It really clicked
This,
with me.
this is the biggest shocker of the year for me.
It's not as big of
It
a
does-
shocker.
It
as
is a very tender
for
movie.
you.
Yeah.
Like in your top 10 though, like you usually
It's
like you're
8.
very critical. 8 too, not even number
8.
10.
Wow.
Hey,
Okay.
holy crap.
It is
Like-
55 for me. I really
But,
liked
like-
it, but yeah.
Yeah. Where you at, by the way, with your movies, Josh? What number?
I hit 91 last night.
Damn it, you're ahead of me. I'm at
Yeah.
87.
I'm gonna make 100, which is my goal for this year.
Me too.
I love how Josh
Holy
is like, I
shit.
didn't like it as much, and he gave it like a 4.
I never said that. I said I didn't love it like you. I really had a good
A
time
4
with it. It's
at
really solid.
55 is a 4 at 55 is
Hey,
wild.
I love movies, you know?
I mean, yeah, that's crazy because I've always been up and down on like Clint Eastwood movies. Like I love Unforgiven.
This is my first Clint Eastwood movie, by the way.
Oh, okay. I love Unforgiven. I'm looking at his list right now. I love Unforgiven. Letters from Iwo Jima is a great World War II movie about the Pacific fight in the
Is American
World War
Sniper
II.
good?
I like
It's
it.
all right. It's all right.
People were
It's
dismissing it
forgettable.
because yeah, a little bit, but like people were
Is
dismissing
Sully
it
good?
because of the other thing. Sully is really good. I like Sully.
I need to, I might watch that.
Tom Hanks carries Sully.
I do love Tom Hanks.
I've never seen $1 Million Baby. I need to watch that. Gran Torino is
Unforgiven.
Unforgiven is his best movie. It's my like second or maybe my first favorite Western of all time is Unforgiven. It's just I think it's excellent.
I'm like westerns are like my big blind spot. I'm just
Yeah.
not a huge fan.
I think Unforgiven's like the perfect. When people talk about perfect westerns, which is always like, of course, the good, bad, and the ugly. But like, Unforgiven is just like I think a perfect like 1990s western.
I know everyone says like how good Richard Jewell is, but that trailer was fucking awful. So
Richard
You never
Jewell
watched it?
is not good. It's not
okay,
good.
no.
I wouldn't recommend
The
watching. it.
Mule,
that
the
what-
trailer for the Mule was fucking great, but again,
The Mule is actually pretty
I
good.
need to watch
It's
it,
pretty
yeah.
entertaining. It's very entertaining.
Isn't a Richard Jewell one of those movies that you watched a lot when you were working at the movie theater, Josh? Or some shit like that?
Oh, that was like years before I started working there.
Oh, okay, never mind.
That was I'm trying to think what it was. Birds of Prey was a big one that I watched that a lot. Wait, why do you think Richard Jewell?
I thought you were working at the movie theater there still.
When did that come out?
2019, I want to say.
2019. Yeah.
I started 2020.
Okay,
Mm.
never mind.
But yeah,
Never
that's
mind.
that's crazy. Number 8. What's 9 and 10 for you?
9 and 10, DD and Civil War.
We should do an
wow.
update at the end of
Holy
this. The
shit.
Letterboxd update.
I rewatched Civil War last month. Still holds up. I think it's a great movie,
I need to watch
especially
it.
after the elections and shit.
I haven't updated my list all month, so November is like unupdated, but
Okay.
my
To
October
me,
stuff.
yeah. To me, Nosferatu is still like the wild card of like a movie that might go up or might.
Yeah,
just
because I
stay
need to
where is
rewatch
right
it.
now.
It's been
Where's that
like
at right now for you
over a
guys?
year.
For me, it's 15.
It's
been
37 for me.
Wow.
37.
I haven't even seen it. I can't be talking, but like, okay. I feel like
can't be
everything I'm
talking.
hearing about Nosferatu is like the sexual horror vibe. Like I feel like if this hits, like it's gonna be number 1 or 2 for me. I can't
Mhm.
wait.
I just like what I remember is that the pacing was kind of off, but
Yeah,
that
it was a
again,
little
very
bit off,
early
yeah.
cut. So I'm sure it's probably better now.
Yeah. Trying to think. I think we also talked about Heretic, but I saw that Hugh Grant is great.
Did we talk about it? I don't
I
think
thought-
I don't remember.
Yeah.
I think we
Not?
might have. I don't remember. Or
Well,
we might
real
have
quick-
talked about it in the Oscar episode. I don't remember.
Oscar episode. I don't know why. It's like not an Oscar movie, but we did.
I mean,
Either way,
Hugh Grant.
yeah. I think Hugh Grant is just fantastic. But mainly, I think Chloe East was a big surprising factor. I go in knowing Sophie Thatcher is going to be awesome. And Sophie Thatcher is really amazing. She commands a lot of the early scenes. But Chloe East really surprised me. You guys reminded me that she was the person in Fablemans,
Mhm.
like his girlfriend or whatever. But like, she was excellent. I loved her. Like, I wouldn't say cat and mouse dynamic with Hugh Grant, but like it was just
I mean,
a very
kinda.
interesting back and forth that they had. Both like in the religious stuff wasn't like preachy or anything. It
No,
was
I
very like
loved how it was handled.
exactly. It was just very like talking about their strengths and weaknesses, but not just as religion, but just like as who they are as characters and how they
Yeah.
what they put into their religion. It was just a really fascinating like power play
I
that they
feel
were
like
playing the entire time.
it's one of the best scripts I've seen this year. Because like
It's very smart.
such a fascinating like with its twist and just the dialogue and like, the interchanges are incredible. Hugh Grant, like we already talked about him, but like he's actually fucking phenomenal in this. Like he's just he has like it's such a perfect blend of like silly and menacing.
Yeah. I'm a weirdo.
And his Jar Jar Binks impression is insane.
That was great.
That man has
Uh,
never seen a Star Wars, but that's what makes
No.
it funny.
I think he has. Come on, guys.
It's so bad. It's good. The camera work, like the cinematography in this is incredible. Chun Hoon Chun,
The
who did
reveal of the candle.
yeah.
really good.
The DP of Last Night in Soho, Old Boy, a bunch of other shit. But
It's
it
wild
looks
that this
really
movie
great.
was written and directed by the same guys that did 65.
Crazy.
How? Like, where
They
was
wrote
this
Quiet
sauce?
Place, though, right?
They did, yeah.
Wait,
yeah,
what? Yeah.
yeah. They wrote A Quiet Place, but I was like, where was this sauce with Adam Driver?
Yeah,
Like,
the
come on.
direction's crazy. Yeah.
Yeah.
With that,
But yeah, the direction was great. The script was really great. I think like it slows down a little bit in the middle, and my only like big criticism, like towards the ending, just didn't like. I didn't get like a big fulfillment out of that ending. It was like okay.
I
it
think
was,
the
it was,
final
like, an
shot
okay.
is a little interesting though, of like the butterfly.
Oh, that yeah.
Yeah.
The
okay,
final
that's really
shot's interesting, but like
Yeah.
the escape. I don't want to talk about it, but like yeah, the ending was just
It got a
okay.
little like cliche.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know if I would say cliche, but it does get a little bit overcomplicated,
Generic,
especially
I guess, yeah.
with the whole concept of the prophets that he has with him.
I think
Mm,
it worked for me.
yeah.
Yeah, I mean it worked, but again, like I say, like it gets a little bit too complicated towards the end.
Okay.
A bit much.
Yeah.
Also, Letterboxd is down again, so
Okay.
Do you have your diary at least?
I tried and refreshed, and now it's fucked.
But overall, I was like very entertained by it the entire time. It was very
Yeah.
entertaining. I just wish the ending like sealed the deal for me more. But overall, the movie is made with all these like because it's weird. It's like I don't want to spoil it for people, but like it is like a thriller, but a lot of the thrill came from just the dialogue. It's not like a lot of chasing and moving around and
I
maneuvering
fucking
throughout
love
this
that
house.
shit too.
I
It's
feel
just
like
it's a
also-
lot of like yeah.
Yeah, I feel like also what makes this whole concept work is whether you're religious or not. I feel like everybody has at least have this type of conversation with their friends about the whole
Mhm.
concept of religions.
Mhm.
So you're instantly like hooked because you're already sort of familiar with the ideas that it presents to you.
Yeah, it makes you think of like your ideals, and it's very like introspective, which I was surprised by a fucking A24 horror movie that like was kind of flying under the radar a bit.
Exactly, and it could have easily gone the way of like religion sucks, religion is bad,
Yeah.
but like it doesn't really like. I hate saying this, but like it doesn't really.
It doesn't
like,
pick a side.
Yeah,
Exactly. Yeah.
it doesn't really pick side. It just like dismantles the idea of like how you choose to believe in anything. Really, like the importance of questioning organizations, questioning your own thoughts, whether it's religion or anything. Really, it's all about the nature of questioning, and that was very smart in questioning him too, because he even outside of religion, the dude was like a very creepy dude
Yeah.
who was telling all these like lies and truths and like she
And
was
the
trying
fact
to
that they
decipher.
question him, yeah, like there's that like
Yeah,
battle between them. That's really fascinating.
exactly. So I think people, if you have not watched Heretic, it should be on DVD or digital soon. So
Yeah.
I guess we could go from Heretic to Here, because I watched Here.
All right. Keep talking. I'll
wow.
be right back.
you're the only one, I think, or maybe Edgar did too. But what'd you think?
I quite loved this movie, to be honest.
Wow.
I know. Surprise, surprise. It is fucking hammy as shit. It is full cheese Robert Zemeckis, but I think it works. I think it's like narrative structure and the way the one shot, like the fifth shot for the entire movie, how it plays around with that is really cool and interesting and experimental. It's not just like it doesn't feel like a shit. The way it like plays around with it, it actually feels consequential. And like Tom Hanks, the de-aging is horrible, but the actual performances are really fucking good. Him and Robin Wright. Like it's a lot more like reflective and sad than I was expecting going in too. Like it has a more of a bittersweet ending, which I really loved.
The house burns down.
Like, yes. I was like really surprised at how much this one got me, how it like charmed me.
Wow.
It does have like some fucking goofy moments. One of the main like B stories is on the founder of the Lazy Boy chair for some reason, which is hilarious. And a relative of Benjamin Franklin, which is also hilarious.
Oh wow.
But I think it's really fun and like endearing in that way also.
Mm-hmm.
That's kind of adds to it, the like experience of it all. But yeah, I think like ignore the reviews, ignore the fucking like pile on that this movie's getting. Go into it with an open mind. I think you
Give it a
might
shot. Yeah.
be charmed by it, like I was.
If it comes out on like streaming or for cheap before the end of the year, I might buy it.
Yeah, definitely worth a watch.
Yeah, it's still like $20 online.
I hate when they do that now.
I hate it.
It
It's like
started with
it should just,
pandemic, but they just kept
it should
it
just
for
drop to
season.
like $6, and I'll easily pay for that.
Like The Apprentice was $20 to rent for a while. That's why it took so long for me to watch it.
Oh, what is it now? Is it $6 now?
It's $6 now, yeah.
Oh, sweet. Yeah, I'll definitely watch that too then. Yeah.
Did you watch Here, Edgar?
I haven't seen a movie like in 2 weeks. I haven't been into the theater since Moana 2. So,
Okay.
It came out before that.
no. Well, I know, but I haven't had time. Cool, man.
Okay. I thought you watched it. Sorry.
No, but I do have a few movies that I do need to catch up. Like that was one of them. Queer's another.
I think you
Queer
might
is-
enjoy Here, Edgar. It's like kind of the earnest shit that you and me both love.
How's the AI? Tom Hanks.
Horrible. Like I said, horrible, but the performance is good.
Oh, also I forgot that UTK came out, but that's for another time.
Oh yeah. I was like,
Nope.
I was trying to watch that last night, but I picked The Order instead, and I'm so glad I did.
So yeah, I can talk about that, even though it's technically a December movie, but like it doesn't matter. I saw Y2K instead of The Order, and it's
Oh,
a
so you
big
did the
mistake.
opposite of me. Yeah.
It's a big mistake. And I only saw it because like Friday, and it was like Y2K was a little bit shorter. I was like, I'm kind of tired.
not
I want
good?
to see short. It's not good. It's
Oh,
just
man.
not my vibe. It's like it's for people that I think like like Josh who walk in high, and maybe if you like this movie,
Stoner comedy.
But it's a bit too much like a stoner comedy where instantly the comedy is hit and miss, but it creates this like lackadaisical high school comedy vibe where I'm not taking anything too seriously, and that harms the movie because
Okay.
if you know the trailers, Y2K, this has a spin on it where clock strikes the year 2000 and robots go crazy or whatever. That's like the main premise. And people start dropping. They start like, a lot of blood and craziness.
But it doesn't feel like it has states.
There's zero stakes.
Okay.
Zero stinks. And I was like, people are dying. And I'm just like, am I supposed
Don't
to
care.
care? Characters are crying. I'm just like, okay. And then they just move on. And the ending visibly got me upset. So I'm not going to talk about it, but I'm just like,
How's
this movie-
Rachel Zegler at least?
she was good. I don't think she's ever been bad, but like,
Yeah.
she's good. The guy from Stranger Things, the main guy, I forget his name. Isn't he from
You mean
Stranger
It?
Things? Am I
Yeah.
wrong?
It.
Is it? Same thing.
And Knives Out.
He's
And
same thing. From It, he's fine as well. And the guy, the New Zealand dude.
I'm not the biggest fan of that kid. I mean, Knives Out, I
Julian-
think, is like his only good role, but that he's like barely in it.
Has he been in a lot? He was good in It. I liked him in It.
He's just very
Um,
whiny.
But I'm not the biggest fan of the It movies. I think they're just perfectly
Yeah, me
fine. It 2 is not good. But then Julian Dennison is okay. He's fine. I didn't
is
like
that
him in
the
Deadpool.
kid from Deadpool 2.
Yeah, I didn't like him in Deadpool 2. He's fine here. Apparently, he's in How to Train Your Dragon next year. But yeah, I was very disappointed. I walking down, I'm like, man, I should have gone to see the fucking Order. Because I watched the trailer for The Order and I watched the trailer for Y2K, and I'm like, The Order looks like my shit, but Y2K Friday night, it's like 90 minutes. I'll go see Y2K and I'll go catch The Order some other time. I'm like, damn it, I should have gone see The Order. Because I think
I
The Order, like,
can talk about The Order also.
yeah, go ahead.
This caught me by fucking surprise. Like, I didn't really know much about this movie. I just heard like it was a good little thriller from Tiff with a great Jude Law performance, and like,
Mhm.
man, literally Michael Mann. Like, this is a fucking man-esque thriller.
Who's the
Very
real
much like. Wait, what was the question?
Who's the real director?
Whereabouts is down, so I can't see. Justin Terzel, who did Assassin's Creed of all things, Neutron, a few other things, but man, he fucking crushed it here. Like it feels like it was ripped straight from the 80s. It looks incredible. The score is fucking great. Jude Law is really good, but Nicholas Hoult here, like he's the main antagonist. He's so fucking good here. Like he has so much to do, and he just delivers like one of the best supporting performances of the year for me.
Wait, he's an antagonist? I didn't know he was an antagonist. Okay.
Yeah.
Shit.
It's just such a sleepy. It's like it reminds me a bit of Insomnia too. Christopher Nolan's Insomnia.
I love it.
Yeah. About it's like very much like Heat, like that, and Heat, where it's like between these two opposing forces and their relationship, I guess. It's so good. The action, the heist sequences are incredible. It's such a solid thriller, man. It's so good, and it has so much social relevance. Like it is scary watching how horrifyingly relevant that is today. Because it's basically it's about a white supremacist group trying rising to prominence.
I thought it was modern day. Is it like in the?
No, it's in the 80s, I think.
80s. Oh, okay.
Or 60s. Somewhere around then.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it sounds great. I really need to see this, but now I'm fucked because this weekend everything is coming out, and I'm like,
That's why I decided to see it, because I knew this would get buried.
Yeah, I think this weekend I got to see Queer and then Lord of the Rings and all this kind of stuff. I'm just like, fuck.
Lord of the Rings is this week?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Oh shit.
Right? They're not really doing a good job marketing that.
Yeah, they've shown that one trailer countless time. But yeah, I really want to see The Order now. That's one of my big things I need to see.
Oh, Ty Sheridan, his best performance too, I was saying too. I'm not the biggest fan of him, but
I like Ty Sheridan.
He's been in Ready Player One. I thought he was just fine in that. He's good in
Mud.
movies.
Have you seen Mud?
I have not, no.
Mud with Matthew McConaughey is excellent. I think that's one of his best ones. He's also good in what's it called here? I can't find it. Is it just Mud? Yeah, I think it's something else. But yeah, Mud is probably his best one. That was 10 years ago.
Journey Smollett from Lovecraft Country, also great here.
Good.
Allison Oliver from Saltburn. She also has a small role here, but she's great. Yeah, this is a highlight of the year for me.
This top 55 for you?
Where did I put it? I think it's top 20, which is big for me.
Yeah. Speaking of top 20, on November 20th, I saw A Real Pain.
Way.
This guy.
Thank you. I saw A Real Pain. And this was, I have not ranked this movie yet, but I think it'll be in my top 10. It's really great. It's fantastic. One of the best parallel opening shot, closing shot scenes I've seen all year. It reminded me of The Substance with that kind of stuff. But
do you finally understand the hype behind Kieran Culkin now?
Oh yeah, for sure. He's excellent in the movie. And I think I came in knowing Kieran is going to be great, but Jesse.
Exactly. I'm so glad he's getting recognition now, because he was equally as good as Colton for me coming out of the movie. That scene,
much more
the dinner
subtle
scene,
performance. But
yeah, but the dinner scene though, holy shit!
Oof. That could be his Oscar clip if he gets that fifth place spot.
I hope he
that's
does.
His Oscar clip.
Yeah, I also saw Queer. I love Daniel Craig in that movie, but I'd be fine with either one doing that final spot.
Now it's Jesse, Daniel Craig, Sebastian Stan,
Glenn Powell maybe.
Glenn Powell maybe. But yeah, I just think their dynamic and how they unearthed the truths about each other in a very raw and impactful way. It wasn't just learning about Kieran's character. We learned a lot about Jesse through Kieran and Kieran through Jesse. I think the script was very powerful in terms of
one of the best scripts of the year for me.
How it unearthed all these insecurities they both shared, their connections, how they were able to talk to other people, how they are in like normal situations like throughout the tour, but also in the very uncomfortable situations where they're going through all the Nazi camps, and the relevancy with all that. It was just a very like emotional, somber, but very lighthearted. Like it juggled a lot of these emotions in a very like natural way. Like I didn't know they were going to go through like I knew they're going through like Poland or whatever, but I didn't like going through all the like the tour and like the dark nature of the tour.
On the was it Auschwitz or was it another camp?
I think it was Auschwitz.
Might have been another one,
or maybe another.
I'm
Yeah,
not
but
sure.
those are haunting though. Yeah,
Those were haunting in a way that I wasn't expecting in like a comedy like
and I
this.
really loved how like it just let you sit with them and like kind of like not much sound too. It was just
Mhm.
them walking through those environments. It was really cool.
Very
Yeah.
good.
I think going back to the whole dinner scene, that's one of those moments where it really hit me because I love Kieran Culkin in this movie. I think he's great, but while as watching the movie, I could still like in the back of my mind it's like, oh yeah, this is like Kieran Culkin doing his thing, and which he's doing a fantastic job at it. But the whole dinner scene for me was with Jesse, like I forgot that I was seeing Jesse, and I was just watching that character be in that moment. It's like, oh.
It was so
So
good.
good.
I was just like sinking in my seat the way he just continued to talk and talk and talk. I was like, oh my, like it was breathtaking. Yeah, great stuff.
And the supporting cast too, like Jennifer Grey, Will Sharp, pretty solid too.
The husband character, not like kind of like being like
Yeah.
being
Yeah,
a
he's
hater.
Yeah. So yeah, this weekend or that weekend, November 20th, I also saw Blitz.
We talked
which
about
was-
it during the Oscars thing.
The Oscar episode. It was fine. People have been very upset this award season because Saoirse Ronan is like
Are people
gone.
upset?
No, in terms of like she's not getting recognition for the outrun. She's not getting
The
recognition.
outrun, I understand, but here,
But
I mean, she's good. But
For the outrun, I'm like she should have been in a better movie. I'm sorry,
Yeah.
but like there's countless times where somebody delivers a fantastic performance in a so-so movie and it gets forgotten. That happens all the time.
but there's also chances where that happens and they win, like Judy.
That's true. And it was Judy. So, yeah, you're right. So I understand their anger, but like the Blitz, I'm like she is perfectly fine in Blitz. I've seen her in a lot. I mean, obviously, she's been in countless perfect movies, and Blitz is just not one of them. It's very simple World War II movie, which is shocking for a
Steve McQueen.
Steve McQueen. Thank you for a Steve McQueen movie where it's not saying a lot. I think he wants to say a lot, but like it doesn't work.
He tries to do interesting things with the direction, like the dream sequences are interesting, but I don't think it works, or there's not enough of it.
Yeah, there's not enough like new, like fascinating material he does with characters. It's
This
pretty
script
much
is just like so generic, I think.
yeah, it's just so generic. The kid I think is really good. I like seeing like his little journey to get back home. It's always very interesting. But overall, like the supporting cast was just kind of forgettable.
Like Saoirse is the best part of the movie, I think. Like she is great, but it's just such a like forgettable movie that
Do the Mickey Mouse voice again, Evan.
It's gone. Impossible. Why did I do that again? I forget what was the context of that.
We were just talking about this, about her Oscar chances. And then we were talking about like, they could probably use one of her clips asking about the boy for her Oscar clip.
Yeah.
I
can't even I can't even try
so
to do that.
naturally too. You can't replicate perfection.
I will say the Hans Zimmer's score is really good for this.
Oh, I agree.
He did it?
Yeah.
Yeah, he did the score.
It's credit to you, like Zimmer's cooking during the movie.
Yeah, and I think like some of the visuals, some of the like the production design is very good. We also already talked about this with the Oscar episode in length. But Emilia Perez was that same weekend for me.
Our opening.
just to repeat what I said on the Oscar episode, I can see why people love this movie. I can see why people hate this movie, and I'm in the middle. I think it's perfectly fine. Um, and again, I'll make this comparison. Contrary to Joker 2 in those musicals, I actually liked the ones here. I think the ones here were. I think I talked about this. Some of them get very like, okay, here's another one. It gets very like not as interesting, but I think there's a lot. The majority of these musical numbers are very ambitious in terms of the scale of like the amount of participants involved, the lyricism. I think besides like the penis and vagina, but like a lot of the lyrics were very impactful and very good. I think for the
El
most part.
Mall is really good, like the big Zoe Saldana number.
I like the first big one where she first gets to that country, the one where it's like 5 minutes into the movie, the big crowd.
Yeah,
I forget what that opening number is, but that was
that's crazy that like that was shot on a soundstage though. Like the whole movie is shot on a soundstage. Yeah, right.
Oh, I swore that was like outside. Holy shit, that's really
No, the whole movie I think was shot on a soundstage.
Yeah,
that's what Josh said. That's crazy. That's great. That's impressive because I think a lot of the scale, the people involved was very like, okay, wow. And I think the direction of a lot of the musical numbers, especially like Josh said, El Mall, the way it's like zooming into Zoe Saldana's face and her actions, but then pans out to see everybody's reactions and what they're doing. I just think a lot of the musical numbers are very ambitious. And I think that's like its biggest strength is like the ambitious nature of those musicals and the numbers. But the what?
The performances I think are the highlights.
Yes, the performances are the highlight as well. Zoe gives one of her great. She's always great, but she gives one of her best performances here. But and same thing for Carla Sofia Gascon, who plays both like the man and the woman. We lost you, Josh.
Yeah,
I'm saying it's crazy that she played like both pre-transition and post. Like it's a very vast range.
That's insane. I didn't know. I thought it was just the post. I didn't know until after. I was like, oh, she's the same. Okay, interesting. Because she's great. However, the weakness comes down to, despite those being great performances and the musical numbers being great, the writing,
the script,
the characters themselves aren't that interesting. I think Zoe's character is like, I'm a lawyer
so underbaked
who does like, I'm a lawyer who's doing like bad shit, and then I switch, and now I'm like, there's just not a lot to her character.
You don't really like the motivations aren't really there for most of them.
For Zoe's character,
maybe Perez, like there, like I could see what she's doing, like why she's doing this for her family and for her like freedom, but like Zoe Saldana's motivations, her just switch of career, like doesn't really explain that much.
It's just a switch of career, exactly. Sorry, Edgar. I just think spoilers for Emilia Perez. I recommend people watch this movie because it's a very interesting movie. But
I feel like it's a big award season players. I feel like are out in.
Yeah. Okay.
If we have
the ending just felt very like
cartoony.
So yeah, like she dies, and I should have been like so impacted by that. I should have been like heartbroken, but everything just happened so fast.
It's
and like
so
a little ass explosion.
Yeah, I'm just like, oh shit. I was just like, oh shit. I was like, oh, this just happened.
Like the scenes with her and Selena Gomez, like while the shootout's happening, really good. Like the performances are great,
really
but
good.
You can barely fucking see it. It's so dark
as hell. It's dark as hell. Yeah.
I feel like
also
in terms of like
in
terms of like scripting, I also think going back to the whole motivations and the characters not being very interesting. I feel like also like the movie itself is just very scared of criticizing its main two characters. Obviously, we know that that Emilia, before she becomes Emilia Perez, when she was still Manitas, horrible things that he did as Manitas, And then the movie, once the transition happens and we get Emilia,
Oh, it's all right now.
it's all right. Like, oh yeah, like she's gonna do good, and like, and I get the point, because you're not only making this movie about about a transgender woman transitioning into being who she always wanted to be, being like her true self, but also having that, not as an excuse but as an avenue to explore like her transitioning into a better person. But the movie doesn't want to acknowledge the things
It
that
doesn't
she
want to
did
explore
before.
that more. Yeah.
At all.
Yeah, like it's very cookie cutter. Like, oh, like yeah, like now that the transition happened, like just forget about the past. And it's like,
Mhm.
mm,
I needed more inner conflict with that character.
And
yeah,
that's because the movie has like 10,000 other messages that it wants to say. Like
Mhm.
the end of this movie is like them in a like parade, like about like freedom and injustice. I'm like, what's like
That
what are
comes
you
out
wor-
of it comes out of nowhere.
what are
Like,
you doing
her
here?
being this
Like,
beloved person, like I get it, but like I want to see more of like the citizen. I mean, I just we got that shot, like the scene, the musical number of them like coming to volunteer, but like I
yeah.
need more than that.
Yeah, because it was just a tons of messages: women's rights, transitioning, injustice in Mexico, and it was a lot of different like messaging that the movie just did half-ass job with across the board.
yeah.
You know, it's just a lot.
And then the whole thing about, if we want to get into it again, about whether Zoe Saldana is
Oh, yeah.
supporting or lead is I'm
Don't
just
get me
gonna say
started.
I'm just gonna say this real quick. I get that the movie is called Emilia Perez, and she is the driving force of the movie. But just because she's
She's
the
not the
driving,
protagonist.
yeah, she's not the protagonist. We're not seeing the movie through her eyes. We're
Yeah.
seeing it through Zoe.
Which is
But
why I think like it's not as egregious for like a real pain, even though Kieran's in a lot of a real pain, it's
Jesse's
still
the
it's
protagonist.
still Jesse's protagonist.
But even though we
point of
start and
view.
end with Kieran Culkin, we follow it through Jesse Eisenberg.
Exactly. So that was a lot. I also saw a fantastic animated movie, Memoir of
Moana
a
2?
Snail.
Mm.
Not Moana 2.
I saw this too. Fantastic.
Did you see it, Josh?
I missed
I
it.
did.
I
Unfortunately.
missed it. And Memoir of a Snail is just one of the movies that just really blew me away. I'm watching it like, oh, I thought it was gonna be a fine, what's it called, claymation, animated movie. I didn't see any trailer for this, so I had no idea what I was going into. And it's a very fascinating film about like emotional connections, the idea of loss, how you pursue your own life amidst that loss, and yet it's also uplifting. So it's like it's not super somber, it's not such a big downer of a movie. It's very uplifting a lot of the times, and it balances like this emotional roller coaster that the main character, played brilliantly by Sarah Snook. What's her name?
Yeah,
From
Sarah Snook.
Sarah Snook. Okay.
Is
It
she
sounded real-
just the? I thought she was just the narrator, but is she the character also?
I think she's the character, right? Am I wrong?
I think so, yeah.
Okay, yeah. 'Cause I was watching. I was like, I think I hear her voice, but like she was doing a very good voice, so I couldn't really tell. But overall, it's like it's goofy, it's creepy, it's weird, and it touches on some big adult themes and topics in terms of like adult relationships, adult standards for like beauty.
Yeah. I didn't know this movie was rated R going into it. So I
Me
was like, whoa.
Really, I didn't know that.
It is rated R because there's like some nude scenes, like
Raunchy
animated nude
stuff,
scenes,
yeah.
some raunchy stuff. I was like, oh, okay, yeah, this is very adult. But it tackled it with a lot of heart and purpose in terms of like what the main character is going through. Everything is through her eyes, her opinions, her flawed opinions, it was very fascinating character study. Again, on top of being ultimately uplifting. Like it has a lot of great messages.
Did the ending break you, Evan?
No, but it was impactful. I can see if people cry at this movie, I can see why at the end of this movie. I was just like, oh yeah. Like
Yeah, I've heard like nothing but like people just breaking down during this movie. Like I know Matt Nedley he's an interesting character, but I saw his tweet saying like this one broke him.
Oh, this one broke him. Yeah, and I can see why. The ending, it was like I was watching it and halfway through. I was like, "Wow!" But if this happens at the end, I'll clap. And it did happen. And I was like, "Okay, good." Like
I
this
love
movie is.
that. Yeah.
I love when that happens. I need a good ending. So yeah, I really recommend Memoir of a Snail for those that have not seen it
I
yet.
can't wait to watch it.
It's really, really good.
In a perfect world, this would be the best animated movie of the year.
That's what I keep hearing.
Yeah.
Well, we know what Josh thinks about animation this year, so
Yeah, he does not like Wild Robot. I love Wild Robot.
Oh, I guess I could. I mean, I saw it December, but we're kind of wishy-washy with that anyways. Evan, guess what I watched? An anime movie. I mean, you've been championing.
I have. I can't guess. What is
anime
it?
movie that's 58 minutes.
Oh, Look Back. You saw Look Back.
Look Back. Okay.
What did you think?
I it was solid.
Oh no.
I don't know. I think like I get what it was doing, but I think it needed to be longer.
I can feel that. I think
it was a little underdeveloped, but the animation is gorgeous and it's gay, so of course I loved it. The story is really compelling and the twist was interesting. I don't want to spoil it, but
no, definitely.
I was a little confused though because it kind of goes back on it. I was a little
in a way. Is it
like a parallel universe type thing?
No, it was just a what if scenario, I think.
Okay.
It was a what if thing.
It was a cool movie though. I enjoyed it.
Yeah. Maybe I'm biased because I saw it at a theater and right afterwards they had like a whole 20 to 30 minute conversation with the director and the two leads, the cast and how they were casted and their opinions on the dynamic. I just think this is one of the most impactful for me. I did like their connection. I thought it was worthwhile. I thought it was very emotionally gripping, beautiful, reflective on like people's dreams, their desires, their connections to those loved ones, and how people pursue your dreams and pursue art. Exactly. Yeah. It's a big creative like masterpiece in terms of like, as a creative, this is like what a lot of people go through. It's very real and raw.
Thematic relevance is really strong here. I really like connected with that side of it. I just thought it was like a little underdeveloped.
That's fair because it is kind of short. I wanted it to be longer too, but you know the shortness angle does impact like what happens at the end of it all. But I don't want to say too much. If people have not seen Look Back, I think it's just animated gorgeously. There's no spoilers. There's a scene in the rain. That's like one of my favorite scenes of the year. I'm just like I'm watching this with a huge smile.
Edgar. Put this on the OLED. What's fucking incredible? This movie. Look Back.
Where is that at?
Amazon Prime.
58 minutes.
Yeah. You won't fall asleep like Josh.
I didn't fall asleep during this.
You fall asleep in a lot of movies, though.
No, I don't.
It sounds like it. Or is that Edgar?
That's Edgar.
That's Edgar. I'm bad.
I didn't fall asleep. Okay, I fell asleep for like 5 minutes on during Boy and the Heron.
Oh, that's crazy.
Get out of here.
Crazy. That's crazy. I gotta watch that because I got the 4K at Boy and the Heron.
Ew.
Yeah. What else?
So we're talking about Gladiator, Gladiator 2, Blitz. Okay, I think it's time now.
Is it, or do we want to talk about something else before?
I don't
we don't need to end on it, do we?
Wait.
You don't have to.
Well, do you want to end on the obvious, or do you want to end with Red One?
I mean, I still want. I still want to talk about some TV.
I still have a lot of movies to talk about. So
it doesn't matter. Let's just talk about Wicked right now. Let's just get through with it, so I can go in order of my movies. I really liked Wicked. I really liked Wicked. This one.
Didn't you Wizard of Oz for the first time before this?
What?
Didn't you watch Wizard of Oz before for the first time?
No, that was Nathan. That was Nathan.
Okay,
maybe I did though. I did. Fucking masterpiece. I don't know how he doesn't love that movie, to be honest. I don't understand it. That's like
He liked it. He didn't love it.
atrocities.
He liked it. He
Putting
didn't love
Deadpool and Wolverine over Wizard of Oz is like one of the worst takes we've ever had. Like how? How?
it. He liked it. He didn't love it.
This
Anyway,
movie's like one of the greatest movies ever made. I finally see
it
that
is.
now.
It is. I mean, but like, but you say, Josh, it was your first time watching it, and you loved it.
First time watching it in full. I've obviously seen like parts of it
Mm.
throughout my lifetime. Like, how can you not? It's probably the most like influential movie in our popular culture. It's like probably the most popular movie of all time. It's and deservedly it's deservedly so because it's fucking incredible. Like, I genuinely can't believe how this was shot in the 30s. Like, how they got away with this, how they did it. Like, it's every shot is incredibly beautiful, and like it's art. it's compelling. It's fascinating. It's so colorful, which is something we'll talk about with Wicked. I understand how those are two related movies. But anyway, I love this movie.
Yeah, I thought I've seen Wizard of Oz countless times. Like, I grew up watching Wizard of Oz. I grew up watching The Wiz as well, which is always another great take on Wizard of Oz, like the black version, basically. So I love Wizard of Oz. Obviously, I agree with Josh. Nothing else to say, really. It's a masterpiece. I think the secret sauce of Wizard of Oz is like, yes, the musical numbers are solid, and like the story and the directing and the visuals is really, really like outstanding. But like the secret sauce is like the character of Dorothy and what she goes through is actually very like well written, like
way ahead of its time.
Exactly. Like a lot of the supporting cast, people always forget about everything that happens before she gets to Oz, but everything that happened beforehand is very important. A lot of her neighbors, not neighbors, the people she's living with are, reflections on the Tin Man, the reflections on the Scarecrow, the Lion.
Mm-hmm.
Those are people that she's had a close relationship with. And then when she goes on the journey, Wizard of Oz, it just contextualizes those individual characteristics, that fear, the courage, the idea of love. It's just contextualized in a more fantastical setting. And then her confrontation with like the witch and everything like that is very like funny, spooky, cool. Like it's all very fast paced. Like, again, modern eyes, you can get to it and be like, oh, the witch is very underdeveloped. She just screams and then she melts. But she's a very good like antagonist in terms of emotionally towards what Dorothy is going through.
She's just as good and impactful in this movie as like a Darth Vader in A New Hope.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly. Yeah, she's a barrier to the current journey that Dorothy is going through. Simple as that. And while being a very, again, iconic and spooky performance. And also it's very funny, like commentating the Wizard of Oz, because Galinda is just a horrible person. It's just a horrible person.
It's a great performance, though.
You could have gone home all along, you motherfucker. Like, you just wanted me to murder this witch. It's a very classic, timeless movie with one of the best like scores of all time.
Mm-hmm.
I love the score so much. And like the Twister sequence, holy shit, it's so cool. It's
so
nearly
like
100 years later. It's still cool.
Yeah, it's so interesting how like it's really goofy, but like it works.
Yeah, it's so cool. So cool. I remember when I was a kid, I used to always be scared of that scene. I was like,
I will say another great high movie, by the way.
Oh God. How many of these movies did you watch?
This and Willy Wonka would be like a perfect.
Yeah, that's a good one too.
Good. But yeah, then going back to Wicked, I'm a big fan of John M. Chu. I love Into the Heights. I love Crazy Rich Asians, and I had a great time with this movie. I think Ariana and Cynthia have one of the best on-screen dynamics I've seen all year. In a year filled with fantastic like duos. This has been oddly like a great year for just two-parters. Like, I instantly think of like Hitman, I think that we were very good. Zendaya and Timothy and Dune Part 2.
Apprentice.
Like, The Apprentice.
That's fresh
Yeah,
on my mind, but yeah.
yeah, it's just oddly enough, there's like a lot of two-part or two-header kinds of movies, and I think Wicked definitely stacks up there. Oh, Deadpool and Wolverine.
Nathan reference.
Nathan. But yeah, I just the substance. Yeah, in a way, yeah, the substance. Even though they're like not together, yes, it's definitely a two-header kind of movie. Go watch the substance, guys. But I adored this movie in the sense of that, like I really loved their dynamic. It's a very heartfelt, very interesting character journey. And even though I knew where a lot of this stuff was going, at least for part one, I realized after the movie, I was like, most of my memory of Wicked is Wicked Part 1 halfway through the play. So I don't know a lot about what happens next.
I've gotten spoiled on a lot, and it's fucking weird.
Oh, it's weird. Interesting. I can't wait to see that then. We'll see how John adapts that. Because I know like the romance angles get very interesting. But yeah, I love like a lot of the musical numbers here. They really work for me. Popular is great.
I just
of course,
wish they look good.
Defying Gravity. I don't think this movie looked like garbage. I think for me, for the most part, it looked fine. Like I've seen countless movies that look ugly, or especially in the Marvel Cinematic Universe.
Okay, I'll let you finish, but then I'll do my tangent.
But I think Popular looked great. I had a great time watching Popular. Defying Gravity left me like, that's how you want to leave a theater. Like listening and watching Defying Gravity, and I was just like breathless at the end of the whole musical number. At the end of the movie, I watched out like, wow. I think that was just fantastic. And then Jonathan Bailey's Dancing Through Life was fantastic. I think like a lot of these really just worked for me. And then the emotional scene when she goes out on the dance floor, I think that was a very great
ballroom scene. I will say that's fucking incredible.
That was a great character moment for her. And then just again, I felt like every step of the way I could understand the ups and downs of Galinda and Elphaba's relationship. There wasn't a point where I was like confused about why they felt one way or the other. I just felt like it was a very natural relationship, and seeing how that developed naturally was very great. I think Ariana, I might lose $25 here. I'll be the first to say it.
I fucking told you. Everyone's switching.
I knew I shouldn't have I bet without seeing the movie, but I was just like, how great can she be?
No, I think you saw it at that point.
No.
Right?
I don't think so.
Episode? No,
I don't think so, because I think we had our Oscar episode on November 20th, and I saw this on the 25th. Okay. So I think I caught a week later. No.
It's crazy. Okay,
yeah,
side tangent. It's crazy how much she's sweeping credits awards too.
Yeah, people are really catching on. But yeah, she is just so great. Like the physicality that she does, with her hair flips, and then a lot of the individual looks that she gives throughout the movie, the comedy. I didn't think she could. I mean, obviously she was fantastic in her Nickelodeon Victorious days. But the comedy she's still killing it.
You understand me saying it's more than just Ryan Gosling and Ken now, right? There's more to it than that. It's just that.
Yes. And it's hard.
That's what you were comparing it to, and I get it, but she has a lot more depth to the performance than he does.
Yes, you're right.
Where it's I can see this winning the Oscar.
Yeah, because I can see why Ryan was so high, because Ryan's consistently on he embodies Ken in such a funny way. In this one,
but Ariana Grande is the goofy performance, but there's also a lot of emotional weight to it.
Yeah, in the way the movie builds up to that emotional performance at the end was really good. A lot of the scenes with Jonathan Bailey, and that it created an interesting, not a love triangle. It's not as cliche and dumb as that, but a lot of the intricacies involved with how she feels about Elphaba and about what she wants for her path. Okay, I can see where it's cooking, but also I can see it's unfinished as well. And a lot of her arc does get continued, obviously, in part 2.
That's just the part 1 of it all, though.
So exactly. So I'm very it's still very interesting. Are they going to award a part 1 performance? I think
Yeah.
they should. I think she's good.
I just don't
I
think
think
there's
there
not
is-
enough competition this year.
I think
Yeah.
Zoe delivered one of her best performances in Emilia
But
Perez.
people hate Emilia Perez. People are turning on that movie so hard.
The industry doesn't. 10 nominations for the Golden Globes alone. We'll see how much people.
I mean, that's not really the
actually-
industry though. That's just
True.
press.
But that's a lot of. We saw how a lot of the international.
I'll wait till sad. We'll wait till sad.
Yeah, we'll wait. But Zoe and Ariana. I think Ariana's gonna win SAG. It feels like a SAG kind of win for her. But we'll see who wins BAFTA, because that'll be interesting. But yeah, I just thought, again, the heart of it is in their relationship. Yeah, that's about it.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think what also
Oh, you go.
yeah, I was gonna say something quick about Ariana. I think what makes her performance really click with everybody that has seen the movie is the fact that she is goofy, she is funny here and there, but you always, even if it's like subtle or not, but you always see that hint of the performative nature of her character, of the difference between being nice just to look good in front of other people versus actually being a good person, which we just talk about it with the Wizard of Oz, where she's not a really good person. So I think she nails that balance. Again, it's almost buried underneath all of the goofiness, but it's still there, and it still hits once you get to the end of the movie.
Agreed.
But go off, Josh.
Go off, Kane.
Okay, so I think this movie technically is great. The sets are unfucking real. The costumes, all that, the crafts, all that shit. But why did they have to make it look like sludge in the tower department? Like, is the lighting too? Like, it's just so overexposed, especially Dancing Through Life. I don't know. I think there's a great movie in there, but I can't get over the fact that it just looks so gray. I know that's like such a minor part of the movie, but I can't get over it.
I mean, I wouldn't even really say that it's a minor part of the movie because, again, you just mentioned Dancing Through Life. And I'm trying to really get immersed into this movie and into the characters. But because the movie just looks gray, it's distracting. And what makes it worse is that all of the sets were actually there.
It's there. Yeah.
Yeah, everything is there. And for some reason, because of how they lit it and how they shot it, everything just looks fake. Even though when you see the actual,
and
like set pictures, it looks like an actual vivid world, and the actual movie itself is just, it's not that.
And what John Chu said to defend it pissed me the fuck off. He was like, what do you say is like, it adds to the realism because colorful movies can't be realistic or can't be grounded. That just makes no fucking sense.
The way that he phrased it was, the movie looks the way that it is to emphasize that the relationships between Glinda and Elphaba, that it feels real, so it's not distracting. Okay. But to the point is like, dude, your main character is green.
Exactly. Yeah. Let her be colorful. Like, let the movie be colorful. Like, it just makes no sense.
Realism shouldn't detract from like how a movie looks.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Like, the performances are good enough that like the thought process of having it be like has to look so grounded and real to sell the movie's performances makes no fucking sense. It's anti-art. Like, it's so stupid.
And if your excuse is like a story element, I'll buy it if your excuse actually makes sense, because I'm going to bring Doom Part 2 into the mix. You could make an argument that a lot of Doom Part 1 and Part 2 looks quote-unquote gray, especially when you're in Arrakis, but that's the look that they went for because they wanted it to look. Yeah. They wanted it to look like a documentary almost for the world to feel actually real. And part of that
it's not the production design bats it up too. Whereas I'm sorry if you're stealing this point, but like the Wicked, they clash.
Yeah, and part of it also, going back to the whole documentary style of Arrakis in both Dune movies, is that is kind of sort of how it's told in the book, because there's like interludes in between each chapter where you're reading it through the like the documents that the Princess Irulan is recording to record the history of Paul Atreides. So it makes sense because it's not something that they just made up. It's something straight from the book, and they're just implementing it into the visual style of the movie. So when you go back now to Wicked, it's like, again, if that was your excuse and if it makes sense on a story level, I would understand it, but it doesn't.
And yeah, and why make the sets look so colorful on them, like on their own? If you're gonna have that be the driving force of the story, if you're gonna make this like look that's so grounded in realism, why make these colorful sets? Why make these colorful costumes? If it's just gonna detract from your goal with that choice.
Yep.
And like it's gonna make people want to see, hey, this movie actually looks so colorful. Why doesn't it look like that in the final product?
Yeah,
Makes
I
no
highly,
sense.
I highly doubt that this is gonna happen, but I wonder if they'll
hope so.
take the feedback and apply it to part 2.
No,
But I
hope
doubt
so.
it. I
It's
doubt
not
it.
gonna
No,
happen because
no.
it's already like
They won't.
probably
Wait,
finished.
yeah,
but
it's already it's in the
yeah.
can. Yeah, we're not gonna happen.
It's just disappointing because like it's such a silly thing to say, but if this movie was like saturated up and lit better, this would be like one of the best movies of the year for me.
Yeah.
I know like I shouldn't let that detract from my feelings so much. So like
No, it's,
I mean,
it's
but
fair.
like it's just I can't get over it.
Yeah, like
it's
I mean,
fair.
at the end of the day, like movies are a visual language, and if
Exactly.
the visual aren't supporting what the story is, then yeah. But like to add to what you were gonna, because I know that you're not a fan of Defying Gravity, how it's portrayed in the movie, Josh.
Ugh.
For me, by
I
the time
love
that by the time that we get to that point, I've been so distracted by the visuals of the movie that I'm like, yeah, why not? I don't mind that sequence because of how
It just
of everything that came
lacks
before.
so much weight when you just make it look like this CG sludge fest.
Yeah, I wasn't bothered by
For
the
me.
CGI as
For me
much.
personally.
But I loved that sequence.
By the way, am I the only one who thought the movie was gonna end with that epic shot of her floating in the air, but then it just keeps going?
Yeah, that was weird.
No, I mean, no.
I don't know.
Was that in the trailers or something?
No, like in the movie, like when she's
I
like
saw
singing
the
and she hits,
musical ends, I think.
yeah, like when she hits the high note and then it's her like floating and the cape is like moving around the sky, right? And then it hits the high note, and I thought that was gonna be the final shot, and then it just keeps going.
Well, we got to see her going west, so
Which is also kind of generic.
It's
I don't know,
generic.
I just
How's
don't
going
think-
west generic?
because that's like Dune Part 1 too.
It's a
I
nice
know,
spot.
weird thinking, but I don't know. It's just the ending didn't really hit me. Like I'd see why like my theaters both times were tears. So many people in tears at the ending. I was like, really? Why?
Yeah, I was clapping at the end. I was really enthralled by that ending.
I
mean,
will
she's
say,
great. The performance is great, but I don't know. I just don't see. I just didn't feel that emotional weight between these two characters.
I will say, Evan, I think we were right about our box office prediction of this not hitting $1 billion, because this is a hit here in the States, but not internationally.
Really?
I think I even called that, where I was like, I feel like this won't hit $1 billion because while this play has been one of the successful Broadway American plays, it doesn't have that like
Well,
international.
it's also in
appeal.
UK, but I don't know. That's different.
Well, yeah, but is China gonna love Wicked? Right, or like is
No.
Japan gonna love Wicked? It's like those
Yeah.
big key Asian.
Is Moana
markets
2
are-
doing better than this movie?
Yeah, I think it already hit
Yeah.
500 million, like within the first week.
Yeah. So Moana 2 is gonna make $1 billion. This one will make like 600, 700. Still very huge. Like John M. Chu is like racking in the
Making
dough.
that money.
Mhm.
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
funny
exactly.
because
I mean, between
it's
both
weird.
movies, it's kind of.
Yeah, for sure.
It's funny because it's like opposite between this and Gladiator, where Gladiator is doing okay here, but it's doing really well internationally, and Wicked, the
Yeah,
opposite.
Gladiator 2
Really?
doing really well for itself as well. Yeah, it's doing good.
Is Part 2 coming in November next year?
November 20.
Yes.
I think it's a week later actually. I think in this year
What's its competition?
we just Zootopia.
Is it-
Zootopia 2.
And is Hunger Games next year, or is that 2026?
2026. The book comes
Yeah.
out next year.
Got it.
But yeah, I think
Then we have Avatar in
Zootopia-
December, right?
Avatar in December. So I think
Yeah.
Zootopia and
No,
the
this
Wicked
is
is going to be a
fun.
very.
This movie is fun.
Yeah. I mean, Avatar is so far away. It'll be fine.
Yeah, but I don't know. Avatar is just such a force, and Zootopia. People love Zootopia.
You see how much money Wicked already made with Moana 2. Moana 2 is going to
Yeah.
make more than Zootopia.
Yeah,
2.
but Moana 2 isn't good.
Moana 2 is not good. It made $1 billion. So like,
It's already got $1 billion.
Almost.
It's
It's
going
already
to-
halfway.
Jesus.
It's already halfway.
Fuck, okay,
it's already halfway
wow.
there.
Segway, people. Segway.
And we say that, and then Wicked is still like beating Moana on daily sales, and it came out like a week earlier. So I think
Yeah.
Zootopia 2 could be great, but I think Wicked 2 is gonna have like a lot of legs.
Let me
Still.
check the box office for Moana 2. Just I'm curious.
Yeah.
I just
'Cause
last
I
thoughts
think
on
we-
Wicked.
Yeah,
Were you to say something?
No, I was gonna talk about box office. Go ahead.
I think like besides the coloring, like I really had a good time with this movie, except for the end. Like Ariana Grande, one of my favorite performances of the year. Which I never thought I would say that.
Me
I
neither.
was not a
Me neither.
believer in her. But she
I'm a believer.
crushed it.
Moana 2 is at
Okay.
600 already worldwide.
It'll be at like
God.
700 by this weekend, and
Fuck.
then I think it's going a little bit. It's going
How
a bit
do they do
slower.
it?
Like, it's
Like
going
both this
slower
and
than I
Inside Out
thought.
2, like no one talks about them yet. They made so much fucking money.
No,
And
okay, hold up. Inside Out 2 is way better than Moana 2.
No,
Moana
I'm
2 's-
saying it's good, but no one talks about it. No one, like, even at release.
I mean, who's gonna talk about it? Fucking 2-year-olds logging their own letterbox.
People talk about Inside
Yes.
Out 2. Inside Out 2 is a good movie. People talk
No,
about
I
it.
love Inside Out too. I'm just saying, like, it didn't have the staying power, at least in our circles.
I mean, I feel like it did for like at least a
John,
good
I'll talk
month.
to you about it, okay? Is that happening?
I don't remember it. Okay, whatever.
Hey, the
All right,
moms
Wicked.
love
The musical numbers are great.
I actually really like music, but again, as a director, as a huge fan of John M2, like it's very interesting
He better not
The
get
way
that
he-
fucking nom.
the way
That's
he
all I'm
filmed. What's that?
He better not get the Oscar nom.
He's not. I think he's not
I
happening.
hope not.
my boy.
Um,
Denis.
Oh, he's fucked. Denis is fucked. He's
It's
that
crazy.
scary.
What are we gonna
It's
do?
crazy. Two of the best movies I've ever seen in my entire
Crazy,
life.
man. I don't understand
And
it.
Dune Part 1 and Dune Part 2. Like
I don't
these are movies I've
understand
seen.
why. Like, at least he
shocking.
got the Globe for part 1, but he didn't even do it this time.
I mean, at least he got the Oscar nom for his best movie in Arrival, but he
I mean, I
he
don't
deserves
know
it
about
twice. It's fact, Josh.
it. Arrival's like number 4 for me.
It's okay. Okay, you're wrong.
That guy only drops bangers, so 4 is still good.
Yeah, 4 is
Oh,
still
yeah.
a 5 out of 5 movie.
Yeah, it's great.
But yeah, I'm just like
Crazy, man.
Dune Part 2 was like a revolutionary movie.
And
for me.
fucking
Like, I
See to
love
Sacred
that movie.
Fidge? What?
Yeah, no, it was like All We Imagine Is Light, actually.
Or no, that's the
Yeah.
one that got in. Yeah, like,
That
so
was crazy.
weird. All right.
So yeah,
We'll save that for a future.
yeah. So after Wicked, over Thanksgiving break, I rewatched.
Is
Beauty and the
Moana
Beast.
2? Oh, okay.
I'll get to Moana too.
Alright.
I rewatched Beauty and the Beast. I love that movie. It's like my number 2 Disney movie of all time behind Lion King. I love Beauty and the Beast. I also saw Man from U.N.C.L.E. for the first time.
Oh.
I saw this on, what was it, Netflix or somewhere. I love this movie. It was very cool heist, very awesome dynamic between Henry Cavill and Armie Hammer, who's like gone from Hollywood now.
I've always wanted to see this. It sounds so fun, but I've never gone around to it.
It's an extremely fun movie. Alicia Vikander, I miss her so much. Where the fuck is
Right?
Alicia
What was
Vikander?
the last time she was in? Tomb Raider? That was a while ago, though.
Tomb Raider was like before COVID, right?
That was
That was like
2018, yeah.
20, that's crazy. Where the fuck has she been? Looking at her movies, she was in Green Knight,
She get pregnant or something?
maybe.
Green Knight. Oh, yeah, she was great in that.
She was great in Green Knight. You know, Jason Bourne was 2015, Ex Machina 2016, 15 again. Yeah, I don't know.
Oh, she was in Blue Bayou, that little small movie that came out. Irma Vep,
But
which is like the HBO series that came out. that
yeah, I never watched that. But yeah, I loved Man from U.N.C.L.E. It was a cool, fun, awesome twist. Like this is Guy Ritchie actually like cooking. He was very good. Have you seen Man from Uncle, Edgar?
The Henry Cavill movie?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I finally saw that for the first time. I really liked it.
Oh shit! Yeah, it's fun.
Yeah, it was really, really, really fun. There was this not bad, but like okay movie on Netflix called Land of Bad. You guys probably
You
never
watch
heard of
the
it.
most random shit. I don't understand it.
It was Thanksgiving. I was like,
How do you
"Let's
have
turn on some
time?
Land of
I
Bad
swear,
movies."
Evan, you have like 48-hour days. How do you fit all this shit in there?
By not grading papers. I'm so behind on my papers.
Oh,
Yeah.
just give everybody an A.
They don't deserve that.
Like, how do you watch all these random movies, all this anime, all these reality shows? I don't
Okay,
understand
anime
it.
is like
Play fucking
anim-
Elden Ring. How?
anime is like 23 minutes. I can watch that daily. It doesn't. I don't
You
like
watch
stack
like
it.
10 different animes at the same time.
I do, but it's all like throughout Sunday through Monday. It's like,
Evan is like
I
an
don't get
iPad baby, having all of the screen, watching at the same time.
very true. We'll get to it when we go to TV. But Land of Bad. It's like your decent military movie with Milo Ventimiglia from This Is Us and other shit. He's really good. It's your typical military hoorah kind of movie. But you know, it was actually pretty. It was directed pretty well. But other than that, it's forgettable. And I did finally see Young Woman in the Sea with Daisy Ridley. She is fantastic. She is
I need
great.
to watch this.
The movie's longer than I thought. It could have been shorter, but I think her relationship to her sister was very good, and her performance was like outstanding. Daisy was just fantastic, and it's very emotional and easy to like root for her character. It's like one of the great sports movies where you can easily root for somebody to all this crazy adversity. Like this is way better than the what was the other swimming movie called? From last year.
Oh, God, don't
Naiad.
remind me.
Naiad was just so boring. This one though is just like it's just a great, riveting character study, and very important too. We could talk about women's rights in sports and stuff like that.
That's
See,
everyone says this, but I tried watching like the first 20 minutes. I just fell off.
Oh wow, no, yeah, I liked the beginning because it sets up like all the stuff she's dealing with in her family. And it makes it pays off well, Josh, because the ending is very heartwarming.
I did watch another Daisy Ridley movie that like barely came out.
Oh,
Magpie was like in one small theater in LA.
Magpie.
It's like this small little psychological drama. It's like Gone Girl-esque. I think Evan, you would love this shit. Yeah, you would love
Gone
this.
Girl.
She's incredible. The man is like so. Okay, there's this troubled marriage between Daisy Ridley and the guy who's like laughably one of the most horrible men ever written. Like he's so like clearly a bad dude, but it's funny. They have a troubled marriage. Their daughter was hired to be like a child actor in like a period drama. So the dad takes her to a set and meets the woman who plays the daughter's mother, and they start to have an affair. And it's kind of like,
oh shit.
I mean, okay. I'm trying to like figure out how to say this without spoiling, because there's some really cool twists in this movie. They start to develop a relationship, I guess.
Okay.
Then it's just like back and forth, like between Daisy trying to figure it out, or like I don't know. It's hard to say because like it's really cool what this movie ends up being. I don't really want to say much, but it's just
I'll watch it.
Yeah,
that's
it's really cool. It's like a great little cat and mouse, like psychological thriller about gender roles and like troubled relationships, and it's very Gone Girl-esque, and it's great, really fun, really smart.
Wow. Okay, yeah, I'll definitely put that on my list.
The camera work and the direction is really solid too, surprisingly. Directed by Sam Yates, which I'd never seen anything he'd done, but he did a great job.
Okay.
So yeah, add it to the list.
I definitely did. And then Moana 2. This movie's not good, guys. It's really.
I mean,
really
I think
not
it's
good.
like, I don't know. It's just very generic.
It's generic. It's boring. Like,
Mhm.
and
I
like
think
I don't want
it's
to
funny
say
that you can tell when the episode started and ended.
That's hilarious. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's not as bad as like cut to black, new scene, but like
No, but you could tell.
you can tell because each setting is very like I don't know how to, like you can tell like, oh, this is TV episode part 1, part 2, part 3, with like each step of her journey is just easily like choreographed. And the musical numbers just aren't great at all. Like
They were better than I thought they would be, but they're not memorable. I kind of liked Beyond, the main one, like kind
Which
of
one
in the
is
place
that?
of how far out go, of her like deciding she's gonna go off to find or whatever.
Yeah,
Opening one is decent. The Maui song though, fucking trash. The Chuya or whatever.
I forgot he had a song.
That's like Wish levels of bad for me.
Oh god.
Not Wish getting strays.
Those numbers are horrible.
Yeah, I think this is better than Wish.
Oh, it's better as a movie, yeah, for sure. It has its moments. Like I think everything they do with Moana's character is fascinating. Is really interesting.
The sister.
Yeah.
Where she like develops to, or where she ends up like going. I think the ending is really interesting, really like solid. But it's just like so paint by numbers.
I disagree with the third act. Really.
Oh, really?
The third act killed me. I'm like, this had to be, for me at least, one of the worst resolutions to a third act I've ever seen. Like, no spoilers in a way, but like,
let's spoil it. I don't care.
Let's spoil the fuck out of it.
It's halfway through $1 billion, Evan. Everybody's seen.
Sure. Okay. There is no like, and I don't always need to have a physical antagonist in my movies.
Oh yeah, okay.
But
yeah.
the third act is just a hurricane.
Mm-hmm.
It's like a storm.
There's no villain. Yeah.
There's no
it's just
villain.
Florida.
The sexy vampire was like barely in it.
Oh yeah, she is not even the main villain, but I think she should have been because the post-credit scene pissed me the fuck off.
Great. Wait, there's a post-credit scene?
Yes.
What is
it?
What
is it about? I left.
Yeah, me too. I had to pee.
I don't blame you, but like, you know, they kept saying there's this forest out there that separated the islands, like this purple god or whatever, and then the person, you know, the main witch, she was like, he's gonna be very upset if I let like Moana go or whatever. At the end of the
he's
movie,
barely like, oh, okay, yeah, he's not. He's mentioned by the witch. Then is like, what? Like,
and then that's it. So the end of the movie pissed me off because she goes up to meet, and this like some black god dude, and he's just like, oh, I'm gonna get Moana, and yeah, he speaks. He's like, I'm gonna get Moana, and you better not have betrayed me. She's like, I would never betray you.
Why is it not in the movie?
I don't know why, but it's like, oh, here comes Moana 3, where she's a fight like the other god or whatever,
and we're definitely in it because of how much money this movie's making.
Oh, definitely, and you can tell the director's tweets. He was like, stay for the post-credit scene, guys. I'm like, fucker, put it in your fucking movie, Jared.
I don't want to. I can't.
Does it even feel like a post-credits for a movie or for a TV show?
It's definitely a TV show. Yeah. But like, the third act killed me because like visually, it's so beautiful. Like
beautiful. This is one of the most beautifully animated movies of the year. Like
when she's underwater. And she's like stretching out her hand, and the lightning strikes underwater. I'm like, okay, this looks really
got me
cool.
because like visually, it's really powerful.
Visually powerful, but like overall, I just wasn't that like engaged because I'm just like I was just going in and out of like sleep because I was also tired. But I also just like not engaged with like her journey. I respect her as a character. As a character, Moana is just, it's still, she's growing up, she's developing, and it was very interesting. But like the physical adversity of her journey was just pretty weak. She meets the same antagonist from the first one. Those little
It's just
weird
because the
dudes.
first movie, like, there's some depth to her character, like a lot.
I agree. Yes.
Yeah.
In this one, it's just like, well, now I'm a leader, and now I have to prove myself as a leader. And she has her doubts or whatever, but it's just like it didn't really hit me as much as the first one. And supporting cast is like very 50-50 for me.
Yeah.
Like the engineering lady was kind of interesting, but also very annoying. And everybody else was just kind
Should
of
have
like
been love
there.
interest. I will say that.
That would've
I mean,
been
I
nice.
feel like that was the original intent, and then
Yeah.
No way with the original intent.
Oh, I mean, I think so.
don't you remember? Yeah, don't you remember when Bob Iger was saying like, "Oh, we need to stop making movies with messages and shit."
No.
Your words, not mine.
Oh boy. Oh boy.
Your words. But hey, shout out to the coconut freaks. They were good.
Oh my god, incredible. Great.
Yeah, they're fine for me. Were the same people from the last one, right? The same coconut villains.
They're just really funny.
Yeah, they're fun. But yeah, I think an easy fix for this movie would have been like having the witch, because the witch, she seemed to be like not bad, but also not fully good either. So I was like, just make her like your physical antagonist. Let her like be the thing throughout the entire movie.
Even
So
if
the
she's
ending-
working for somebody
like-
else.
The main
Yeah.
problem in this movie that's solved so easily.
Again, yeah, it's just like we
So,
go
like,
there.
rushed.
I mean, it was
Yeah,
rushed.
Yeah, obviously,
Yeah.
yeah. But yeah, it's like we go there, we gotta find it. They get through some waves, and then that's pretty much it. The ending is kind of cool. They get all these like people from different islands. I think
Having
Moana
Moana become a demigod is interesting.
oh yeah, like her new like powers and stuff like that.
Interesting, that's cool.
It kind of reminded me of like Guardians 2, where we learned that Chris Pratt is actually like part
yeah.
even though she just got the powers. But either way,
It's just
I think
the writing for it is just like there's not anything there.
yeah,
Just
again,
what-
yeah, I don't feel like impacted. I don't feel like oh,
Visually
man, she
it's
went,
there, but not like emotionally.
yeah, like I didn't feel like she went through all this to finally get that power. It just happened.
Yeah.
So I was just like, I was very bored by this. And again, visually, I'm like, man, this looks so cool. But the story just was not for me.
I'm very intrigued by how well or poorly, probably well, how the live action one is gonna do, because going from animation to then that, it's like okay.
It's weird because I love the first Moana, and they're just gonna do that in live action. So it's not gonna be bad unless it's like Lion King.
I mean, Lion
But it's
King.
But Lion King had like the like because of the weird facial photorealistic, that made it just like 10 times.
Yeah, we're
worse.
in Rock in a fucking fat suit. Or a
Well,
muscle
like, the
suit.
Rock is, but the Rock, yeah, that's gonna be weird. But I think in post it'll look fine. But the Rock is always like
He's even worse
charismatic.
here. No, I think he's worse here. He's just annoying.
You think so? I don't. I mean,
Yeah.
I don't know.
I thought like he was my least favorite part of the first movie. He's
Really?
Yeah, I did not like him. I think he like
Wow.
detracts everything from the good parts of Moana.
Wow.
And
I
he's just
disagree.
even more annoying here.
I think I disagree, dude. I would have liked for him to be a bit more in the movie. I would have loved for it if he was more in the movie.
I think they try to do something interesting with Maui in this movie by taking away his powers, and I think if they
Right, a
would have
second.
done that, yeah, like
Right, a
for like a
second.
second, if they would have been his arc by the end of the movie, and maybe in
Yeah.
the third movie we see him like struggling with that, that would
That
be
would've been
interesting.
cool.
But they walk away from it.
They do, yeah. So yeah, I was just disappointed with this movie. I think Moana 3 has some potential now that all the islands are together. If we can
Now that
create
it's going to be ground up from a movie, I think it could be good.
exactly, and I think like if they can create some kind of like conflict with all the other islands, because first it's just been their island, they wanted communication, now they got it, but like you have to assume people have different agendas maybe about how to like move forward on top of oh yeah, this big angry god just got like defeated by Moana technically, because now they're all united. What was he so afraid of with them uniting? So it's like now we can
And
have
like
yeah,
they better bring back Lin-Manuel Miranda for the songs.
they have to.
They
They have to.
time not
They
yeah.
have to pay him
He's
whatever he
busy
wants
with
because
Mufasa, like this time, but like he better come back.
like
I mean,
drove
his songs in
home.
Mufasa don't sound that great.
I know, but like yeah.
But like I drove home thinking like, man, I gotta listen to that 2016 Moana soundtrack.
How Far I'll Go is like one of the best Disney songs, I think.
It's so good. It's so
Yeah.
good.
It's
Yeah.
Shiny, like Tamatoa's song, it's a fucking banner.
I don't like Shiny.
Really?
I think I'm like the only. My brother and I don't like
Wow,
Shiny.
okay.
I like every
David
other
Bowie
song
song.
on that album. I like every other song. It's really great. But yeah, that's it for me though on my list. I think I cleared out everything.
Let me see. Edgar, do you have anything?
Do you want to go from one movie with The Rock to another?
Oh, Red One. Yes. How bad is it? Is it so bad it's good?
Kinda, in a sense.
Wow.
Okay, so I mean, I'll say this: I had more fun watching it than I thought I was gonna have. Very clearly a streaming service movie just released in the theaters. But okay, it doesn't look great, but it does have its moments where you can tell that there was an attempt made. Like there's the whole sequence with at the castle with Krampus. That's like the most energy the movie has.
Wait, is this the director of Jumanji?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
How
Jamie
Far
Collette
Is
Sarah,
Fallen?
right?
No, Jake Kasdan.
Oh, never mind.
But yeah, like I mean, it tries to do the Men in Black, stick of like, oh, we have an organization that takes care of all of these mystical beings, Santa Claus, and there's a scene. I mean, spoilers, I guess. I don't think nobody cares, but there's a scene where you can see like the headless horseman. They're like interrogating him or whatever. It's like I didn't hate it, but it's not a good movie.
Chris Evans phoning it in.
Yeah, very much. I mean, it's weird to say this because I feel like The Rock should be the one who should be phoning it in, but he's the one who kind of feels like he's actually trying, and Chris Evans is
Really?
just sleepwalking.
Wow.
That's crazy because like all the like behind the scenes
The
drama
drama.
was that like Chris Evans was always on set, but The Rock was always late. That's wild.
Yeah.
Really?
I mean, maybe because The Rock is playing like the straight man instead of being like the goofy guy. Maybe that's why
it's
he
not
helps
that
him,
hard.
but
Yeah, he's just playing The Rock. Yeah.
He saw
Yeah.
Oppenheimer and is like, oh, I gotta bring it for this one now.
True.
No, how do you say? Oh, it's like it's end game. It's game over. Whatever.
Yeah, he's like, this technology with this screen, game over.
Third act is awful. What's her face? Kiernan Shipka or whatever. Her
She's
fucking
in
name
this?
Oh, I love her.
She's
her.
the
Is she
villain
bad?
of the movie.
She's in so many small roles.
She's bad.
She's the villain
She's
of
a
the
villain?
movie. Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Okay.
She's a gorilla, like the yeah
Gorilla.
gorilla,
Oh, gorilla.
like the witch, the whatever. The
Yeah,
fuck,
Oh, he's a
yeah.
gorilla. I was like, what?
Me too. I was like, what the fuck?
I said gorilla. But it's like,
I gotta watch this movie.
No, but I mean,
That's wild.
it's fine, I guess.
I think it's coming on Amazon like in 2 weeks.
Yeah, I mean, again,
Really?
it's like most of
man.
her scenes, it's just her talking to the camera. because-
Movies are so good.
It's this Friday.
Hey,
Oh, God.
I'm watching
most,
this right when I get home.
most of her scenes are just her like talking to the camera because she's never really with the other actors, but like she has like the power to like talk to other people through other individuals, like kind of get in their mind and speak to them, kind of like an Xavier, like a Charles Xavier kind of way. So yeah, like again, she's fine, but
It's
yeah,
crazy because I thought she was fantastic in Long Legs this year.
yeah, like I would recommend it just because again, like it is kind of like a so bad it's good. Like It's not boring.
Wow, I gotta watch this. What else you guys got?
I think that's it for me. Yeah. I mean, I watch Sleepy Hollow and Sweeney Todd. Just rewatches.
Great.
Great.
Sweeney Todd is so
stuff?
good.
Yeah. What else?
Okay, I obviously Election Day happened. I had to do a feel good movie, so I watched
Mhm.
Music by John Williams, the documentary that came out. Man, cried so much. It's just like it's one of those hammy like oh, let's talk good about this person who's so talented and successful, but like it works because it's John Williams. Like he's one of the greatest talents we have. He's like affected all of us in so many ways, except Edgar, who hates him. Kidding. But like it's just really cool to see like how much he's affected film in general, how like prevalent he is across the whole industry and the whole like everything we love. Like he's connected to in somewhere. What a guy. And that kind of like sparked full binge of Steven Spielberg movies I had because I needed some feel good cinema, you know, after the nightmare that we had
last month.
Yeah. So I followed that up with E.T. I rewatched E.T., which is probably one of my favorite movies ever.
Yeah, classic.
If I like, film is subjective, but if I think we all came together to pick the greatest movie of all time, I think it would be this one. Like, no, you don't think that? It's so good though, and it's just
like don't get me wrong. I love E.T., but
I love it to death. I agree, but like
it's just I don't know. I think it's a perfect movie. It
It'll
just
be a
makes
perfect
me
movie.
feel so much. It's wait, what do you say?
it'll be a rival. I'm kidding.
That's
I mean, it
depressing,
probably
man.
would be a rival for you.
No, I think if the world came together, I can see Titanic being number one.
Okay,
Really?
like Taylor.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think everybody who ever watches that movie loves it.
Okay, that's fair. But yeah, it's just I love ET so much. Then I watched Fablemans or rewatch, and like I don't know, I don't understand how Spielberg does it this late into his career. Like he's fucking crafting so many bangers. To do something this like fascinating and self-reflective this late into his career and has like so much to say about himself. Like that shot of the argument and in the mirror of him filming, like, oh my god, it's just so interesting. And like something that like only Spielberg could do. Like it's just I don't know. It's so good. Then I rewatched The Post for the first time since release.
Oh wow,
It's solid. Like it's just
it's okay. Yeah,
even
it's
the
solid.
weaker Spielberg movies, like I have an affinity for because they just look so fucking good, and because he's a master at blocking and camera work, and just has those sensibilities that I don't think anyone else has.
This is the one Spielberg movie that I've seen that I don't remember a single thing about.
That's the problem. I think it's very like unmemorable, but when I'm watching it in the moment, I am charmed by it.
I gotta rewatch
It does have a funny like post-credit scene with Watergate,
Who's crazy?
which is weird.
Oh yeah, I
Not a
remember
post-credit
that.
scene, but the ending is like very like MCU post-credit scene with Watergate.
it?
It's hilarious.
Oh, it's Watergate.
Yeah. Then I rewatched Catch Me If You Can, which is like fucking incredible masterpiece.
So good.
Amy Adams,
Like-
baby.
Right? Like she's so good in that. Leo, probably one of his best, one of Tom Hanks' best. That score is incredible. Then I rewatched Close Encounters. Again,
Peak.
incredible. The ending is like one of my favorite sequences in all movies. I did rewatch Ready Player One also, which like
It's a good movie. It's a good movie.
Do you actually think so?
I like it. I'm serious. I'm dead ass.
Okay, I think it's weird. I think it visually looks really good, but I think the script is so weak. Like the
It's
dialogue
weak.
is so generic and cheesy, and like
That's
like
true.
old man writing teenagers, so queer.
But I feel like there's like this weird like earnestness to it. I think it's really
yeah, I see
fun.
that. I think
Like,
Mark
I like it.
Rylance is like he doesn't have much to do, but he's so good in this as
Yeah.
Holiday. And I watched War of the Worlds for the first time, the Tom Cruise one.
I love
I
it.
fucking love this movie.
I
Like,
love this movie.
I did not think it would be this relentless. Like it is like harrowing. It is such of a like nightmare of a film. The characters can't catch a break until the ending, and it's the action is incredible. Again, it's Spielberg, so what's phenomenal.
Yeah, I'll never forget. Like when I first saw this, I did not like it. Like it took like
Really?
repeated viewings because the daughter's good. It's the son who is like the biggest a-hole cliche teenager. I'm gonna walk above this hill and fight with the army. Fuck off.
But then he dies, or you think he dies.
He dies.
It's so well done. Yeah.
Like, so the son's like the only nitpick that I still am like, this son can go. But it has one of the best sound designs of any film you'll ever see. Like that opening sequence, not opening, but like the invasion sequence is one of the most like enthralling things Spielberg has ever done. It is incredible. Just like the way people get vaporized, the sound design of them coming out of the ground. I was like, oh my God. It's breathtaking. Loved it.
And it's like such an interesting study of like post 9/11 paranoia and panic. Like have that be like it's such a like obvious thing to connect that with an alien invasion story, but I think Spielberg does it so well.
Yeah.
Is that my last one? No, I watched Minority Report for the first time also, which I think it was solid. I didn't love it as much as most people do.
My brother saw it for the first time and I rewatched it, I think like a month or two ago. I still really like it.
Yeah. Talk about 9/11 post paranoia.
Yeah, another one. Yeah.
Big time.
I think it's like his ideas are really cool, but it's
really
solid.
Thoughts on the ending?
I don't remember it as much.
There's like Minority Report.
Oh yeah.
Because like his boss is trying to like, it's a spoiler alert for an old movie. But like it's revealed that his boss was the one that was like betraying him. And then like he just try and save the one he loves. And like I think it's a very like heartfelt ending. I look at it as very like uplifting and like romantic. Other people would like try to think like, oh, it could be like a secret downer kind of movie. Because it is like slightly ambiguous. But yeah, I love Minority Report. Tom Cruise was great.
Tim Wade Nelson has a little role in that. He's fucking great in.
Yep.
Then I closed it out with West Side Story rewatch, which is like top 5 Spielberg for me. I love that movie so much.
Top 5.
Yeah, I really love it. Like the story obviously is weak, but like that's not his fault. That's Romeo and Juliet. That's the West Side Story. Like the romance.
I think it's weak.
Not a story, but like the romance. It's a very like rush romance, obviously. And I don't think Ansel Elgort sells it personally.
No,
I
he
think
doesn't.
That's like the weak part of this movie is him.
But he can't sing.
I mean, he's not horrible.
I think I like his solo number.
But like, it's one of the best looking movies of the decade so far. It's just so beautiful and so impressively shot, and the numbers are incredible. And Rachel Zegler is a fucking star in this movie, and everything she does, but especially here. Mike Feist, oh my God!
Was this like 1 year before Fabelmans?
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
Back-to-back years, he had this in Fabelmans. Crazy.
I'm surprised that David Alvarez hasn't been in much after this.
Yeah, he was great.
Which one was he?
Bernardo.
Brother.
Yes. I thought I saw him in something else. Oh, he was in Hunger Games, right? Was that him?
No, that's the other guy.
Oh, whoops, never mind.
No, it's the guy that
Josh Rivera
shot Ansel Elgort. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, now I know
Great
who.
movie.
Okay, now I know who Bernardo is. Okay.
Yeah. The leader of the Sharks.
Yeah. Quickly before we leave, for TV talk.
Oh, I have two TV
oh,
things
go ahead.
also.
Okay.
You go first. You go first.
I loved people have not loved it, but like the ending of Arcane season 2. I don't think it's as like perfect as season 1, but I categorized it as like a flawed masterpiece where there were so many highs with the character dynamics, the character relationships, the animation excels even season 1, the storytelling. While some of the world building isn't as like tight as season 1, and some of the pacing isn't as tight as season 1, and there's some character moments that I think could have been a bit more substantial. I think regardless of that, there's a lot of character dynamics that I think were phenomenal. Arcane season 2 episode 7 is one of the best episodes of TV I've ever seen. I think the songs and the score were just phenomenal. So if people are not watching Arcane, I gotta recommend it. It's currently my number 1 show of the year, even though it is like it has more flaws than some of the other shows I've seen this year. I've never been more invested in like captivated by a TV show all year. Like I'm always talking about it, and it's a fun conversation to be had. Silo season 2 started this month. First episode was kind of weak, but everything after that was pretty damn strong. I think Rebecca Ferguson is fantastic, and the mystery behind the silo is really interesting. And the character and social dynamics are intensifying very strongly. I also started the new Taylor Sheridan show called
Another
The
one?
Landman.
How many does he do? He has like 5 now, right?
Yeah, he has Lioness with Zoe Saldana.
That's him?
That's him.
Nicole
Yeah.
Kidman, yeah.
Oh my god.
Nicole Kidman. He did the one I watched called The Landman with Billy Bob Thornton, which I think is really good. It's really good. I was surprised by it. I thought it was going to be pretty weak.
Do you watch Yellowstone?
I don't. My dad said it's his favorite show of all time now, or second favorite behind.
That's peak dad television.
It's peak dad television. Like he says, like Evan, this is like it's Game of Thrones and Yellowstone. It's Game of Thrones and Yellowstone, best shows ever. I'm like, okay, then. I always argue with him about the ending of Game of Thrones. He was like, it doesn't matter. Game of Thrones is the best show ever, all time, easy. Okay.
I mean, he's not wrong.
I still think Game of Thrones, like I love it. But I would put Better Call Saul, Breaking Bad, The Americans, like Leftovers. Like I put a lot of shows. Anyways, Landman is pretty solid. So it's definitely like dad, mom, TV. But it's about like the oil industry and the craziness and the competitiveness and even the dangers of the oil industry and like the American West. It's pretty good.
Remember when we had that peak Taylor Sheridan run of Sicario, Hell or High Water, then Wind River? Oh my god. Where did that Taylor Sheridan go?
Paramount put him like in a closet. It was like, you're gonna write all these shows for us.
He discovered residuals.
Yeah. Paramount has him at beck and call, and he's making bank. Also, I've been slacking on it, but I'm halfway through the Sympathizer from this year, and it's really good.
Oh, I need to watch that. Yeah,
it's good.
I haven't watched it in like 2 weeks, but it's been really good.
Top 10 show for me.
Yeah,
I've only seen like 5 shows this year, maybe even less.
I have like a full list. You can't see it, but like
I've seen 22.
22.
I gotta take out some of the anime out of here. I'm at like 30 anime and like 20 anime.
How do you do it?
Because each season, like winter, spring, summer, fall, there's like 7 I watched, like 7 or whatever.
Evan, when are you watching Ted?
Yes, you gotta catch up on that.
Was that this year?
Yeah, like
honestly, might be my show of the year.
Oh wow! I don't know. I mean,
Mrs. Smith is up there. Acolyte.
Oh, I love Acolyte. Yeah, Acolyte's definitely in my top 10. Rings of Power is so good. Rings of Power season 2 was so good.
Still, my
Rip-
top show of the year is Presumed Innocent. That really surprised me.
Presumed Innocent was
Okay.
huge. Have you guys seen Ripley with Andrew?
God, there's so
yeah.
much thing to catch up on.
Ripley is so good.
Top
Ripley is
five.
so good.
I need these Evan 40-hour days. I don't know where you did
The
it.
Penguin, fantastic. Mwah.
Penguin, of course.
Don't need
Easily.
to watch
Like,
that.
right now, my top 10.
I haven't even watched episode 2 of Skeleton Crew yet. I've only seen the
Oh yeah,
first
Skeleton Crew
episode.
started this month. I think it's a very
Yeah.
solid. It's simple. It's solid. It's like it's not blowing me away.
First
But
episode
like,
was fun.
it was the first 2 episodes. You didn't watch episode 2? Oh, you said that.
Not yet. Yeah, I
Yeah.
probably will tonight.
Um,
But yeah.
Episode 3 is tonight. Yeah.
Where does the Acolyte rank for you, Evan?
I have it at number 4. So my
Wow.
ranking is
Okay.
are-
Not number
that's
1 or
because
2.
I can just talk about Acolyte for
What's your
hours
top
on it.
5?
Arcane season
Curious.
2, Vox Machina.
Oh shit! Hell yeah. Okay.
That's my number 2. Shogun.
Did we ever talk
number
about that?
3. I don't think we did.
We always
But
forget to. Yeah.
I was like in tears at one moment.
It's so
with this
good.
latest
Yeah.
season.
I mean, I
Um,
have troubles with it because
Because you
source
because
material.
you watch
Yeah.
Critical Role. But number 3 is
it's still really
Shogun. 4 is Acolyte. 5 is X-Men 97.
God, Shogun was this year. Oh my
Yeah.
god.
6 is the Penguin. 7 is Ripley. 8 is Rings of Power. 9 is Presumed Innocent, and 10 is Mr. and Mrs. Smith.
Mm.
So yeah, it's been a
Another
great.
bear. Wow.
I didn't love the bear. I thought it was fine.
You didn't like this season?
It was fine. It was good. It wasn't great.
Damn.
It was like a 7 out of 10.
Even though I really like both seasons, I feel like I have the same, not the same, but similar issues with The Bear and House of the Dragon season 2. I still
I
like them a lot.
Oh, I
They're my-
love season 2
Yeah.
of House of Dragon.
I really liked it. I love doing the podcast with Edgar. That was fun.
Yeah.
That was great.
All right, I have
Wow.
2 TV things.
right.
First one, have you guys seen the Creep movies?
No.
They're like
No.
small found footage horror movies with Mark Duplass. I watched
No.
them for the first time during spooky season. Do you know what they are?
I know what they are, but I haven't seen them.
The first one I thought was like solid, pretty like kind of laughably bad with its writing, but the second one kind of twists the whole premise on its head and adds in a character that really like changes the dynamics, and it's really fucking incredible. So they have Shudder is putting out the series that's like kind of takes place in between the 2 movies called the Creep
Mhm.
Tapes, which is like just different self-contained episodes with. So it's basically the premise of this like whole thing is that Mark Duplass is this like serial killer who invites different videographers in to record his life, and obviously ends up killing them each. And so like each episode is like different scenarios of him hiring someone to film him and how he ends up murdering them. And it's just like
Oh, shit.
Mark Duplass is fucking incredible as this character. Like it's one of the best horror performances I've ever seen. Like he's so fucking charismatic. And this show is really fun. It's on
Wow.
Shudder.
Oh,
Recommend it.
Shudder.
Edgar,
Sounds
I think you
interesting.
love this.
Yeah, sounds
Yeah.
interesting, but I find it funny that you watching this very niche show and not the Penguin. Like this is super.
I know because it's like they're short episodes, and I love the first 2 movies. You know.
Yeah.
But you should watch the movies and you should watch the show, like Edgar. I think it's right up your alley. Then, shit, I forgot to do the timestamp.
It's Ted again.
Yes, I rewatched Ted. No. I did rewatch. My big thing for this month was I rewatched Succession front to back.
Oh shit!
That's
Why are
really
you
why I
rewatching-
watched it. Because of
You're
the,
rewatching 4
no,
seasons
felt,
of TV.
felt right after the election, you know? Okay. It's crazy watching that and seeing how like the election is all the real life shit is even crazier than that show. And how
Now,
like
this is a
the election night episode of that show is so fucking sterilely accurate to what happened this year.
this is
crazy.
a top 5 show of all time. This is great.
It's probably like the greatest thing we've ever seen on television. I don't know if that's hyperbole, but like
No.
it's genuinely
It's
up there.
fair.
Like
Fair.
it's so fucking
Sure.
incredible like, how this show holds up on rewatch. Like it's just the arts are so realized and so developed, and the ending is so perfect because like it could go past it, but it's genius that it doesn't, because it's the end of the
Mhm.
family, not the end of the business. You know,
Mm-hmm.
it's great. I love the show so much.
It's a perfect
One
TV
of the
show
best
for sure.
Yeah.
Okay.
Jeremy
That's
Strong in
it.
this show, though, like one of the greatest performances we've ever seen. I think
One of my favorite TV characters ever.
Yeah.
the eye acting, man, crazy.
Okay.
Uh,
I think that's it for me, though.
yeah,
Cool.
me too.
Me too. You guys can find me on Twitter, not Blue Sky yet, at Harris EV9. Nathan and I do reviews on Skeleton Crew every Wednesday, so we'll be talking about episode 3 tomorrow.
And you can find me at ATGRTEG on all social medias. You can find some of my written work at Loud and Clear Reviews and the Cinema Spot. Hopefully by the end or sometime this week, my review for Maria is gonna drop. I know it wasn't on the
I can't wait to
thumbnail,
talk
but
about that.
yeah, we can
That's
talk about
also
it.
this weekend. Oh my
Yeah,
god.
tomorrow. It comes out tomorrow.
Oh, wow.
But yeah, like
Man.
yeah,
They will
look
tease.
forward to it.
I really love that movie. That's all I'll say.
Yeah, I feel like that movie's gonna. I'm really interested to rewatch it again because not only does it
Mhm.
look great, it's just a good movie. Yeah, but
You'd find me at Josh G. Woodbury on Twitter and Blue Sky. I think we should really replace the Threads logo with the Blue Sky butterfly thing on this
just
graphic.
add it.
I mean, is anyone on Threads still?
I mean, you'll be surprised. There's a lot of people there.
Was Threads the Instagram one?
Yeah.
Mm.
But I'm mostly on those two. I don't know. I don't care. I'm trying to over the whole social media thing. I don't know. It's
Okay.
life is crazy.
Okay.
What? It's just I don't know. I'm on Instagram, but it's private. I don't want people finding that.
Okay.
You find his podcast at WHFG Podcast on Instagram, Twitter, and Blue Sky, and Threads. I guess if you're actually there. That's it. That's all, folks.